Welcome to Islamabad, UK, the headquarters of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community. The Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat has progressed against all odds, and this year it has witnessed unparalleled success. Today, we will witness the success of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, and we will begin with the engagements of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih al-Khamis, ayyadahullahu ta'ala bi nasrihi al-aziz, as we delve into 2023, the year in review.
हम तो हर दम चढ़े रहे हैं एक बुलंदी की तरफ वो बुलाते हैं कि हो जाए
The whole of 2023 was marked by countless public engagements of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih through his various sermons, meetings and mulaqats, both virtually and in person, trips abroad and various jalsas addressed from around the world and keynote addresses at many events. We will aim to bring you highlights of just some of these public engagements.
रहबर के लिए दोस्तों रस्ते को सजा दो और दीदा दिल फर्शे सरे राह बिछा दो रहबर के लिए दोस्तों
We start the year with a solemn beginning, where a horrible attack on innocent Ahmadiyya Muslims on the 11th of January in West Africa led to 9 brave Ahmadiyya Muslims being martyred in Burkina Faso purely for their faith. The significance of their sacrifice and accounts of their defiance in the face of death were immortalized by Hazrat Khalifatul Masih in his Friday sermon on January 20th.
گزشتہ دنوں افریقہ کے بر اعظم کے ملک بورکینا فاسو میں جو عشق و وفا اور اخلاص اور ایمان اور یقین سے پر افراد جماعت نے جو نمونہ مجموعی طور پر دکھایا ہے وہ حیرت انگیز ہے. اپنی مثال آپ ہیں جن کو موقع دیا گیا کہ مسیح موعود کی صداقت کا انکار کرو اور اس بات کو تسلیم کرو کہ عیسیٰ علیہ السلام آسمان پر زندہ ہیں اور آسمان سے اتریں گے تو ہم تمہاری جان بخشی کر دیتے ہیں. لیکن ان ایمان اور یقین سے پر لوگوں نے جن کا ایمان پہاڑوں سے زیادہ مضبوط نظر آتا ہے جواب دیا کہ جان تو ایک دن جانی ہے, آج نہیں تو کل. اس کے بچانے کے لیے ہم اپنے ایمان کا سودا نہیں کر سکتے.
Moving on to late February, Hazur was interviewed by the editor of RE Today magazine, Matt Blaylock, on an article concerning young people and Islam, where he inquired from Hazur on how he applied Islamic principles as a head teacher in Ghana. Issues regarding hunger, sustainability, and media representation.
Whenever I say something about peace, I normally quote the verses of the Holy Quran or the tradition of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, which are according to the teaching of the Holy Quran. This is how we can do it. You see, if we are giving the true teachings of Islam, explaining the true teaching of Islam, and it is being portrayed by your actions as well, then this stereotype Islam will be removed, and this is what we have been doing. This is why quite a number of non-Muslims appreciate our actions. They say that your teaching of Islam is quite different, not only in here in the UK, in South America, in North America, in Africa, in Asia, everywhere. One thing is common among all the Ahmadiyya Muslims, that we believe in the Holy Quran and the Sunnah, and we try to practice all these teachings.
On the 4th of March, after 8 years of construction, following a fire in 2015, the world witnessed the inauguration of the new administrative block of the Beit al-Futuh Mosque in London by Hazrat Khalifatul Masih. The occasion was coupled with the 17th National Peace Symposium of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Community, United Kingdom, after a pause of 2 years. An event which was attended by more than 1,500 people from across 40 countries. At the event, Hazur delivered the keynote address, turning everyone's attention once again to the principles of justice and equity against the backdrop of the war in Ukraine.
Islamic teachings require for every effort to be made to bring peaceful solution to a conflict. For this reason, I believe it is essential to keep the channels of communication open and to strive to find mutually acceptable terms of agreement. If, however, the aggressor remains bent on causing misery and destruction and refuses to withdraw, Islam teaches that other nations should join together as one and use proportionate and necessary force to end the cruelties.
Prior to the event, as well as the day after, Hazur met more than 10 international delegations comprising of guests from academic, political, human rights and media backgrounds. These delegations hailed from many different countries, including Belgium, Italy, Portugal, Spain, France, Norway, Holland, Greece and Switzerland.
And I've been very, very touched by his speech yesterday. Namely when he told us about the importance of feeling compassion, not just toward victims, but also towards perpetrators.
In the same month, Hazur launched the Read Quran app for iOS, published by the alislam.org team, who also presented updates on various projects currently being undertaken by the team, including various optimizations to their search engines in both English and Urdu, as well as a Quran search engine, features of Qibla and Azan timing functionalities, and various other applications of artificial intelligence and audiobooks on the website. In April, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih addressed both the Waqfat-e-Nau and the Waqfin-e-Nau ijtimas held in the United Kingdom, reminding both to not only strive to remain true to their religious convictions, but to also put great effort into establishing a relationship with the Khalifa of the time.
As I have said many times before, you must elevate the standards of your worship. Every Waqf-e-Zindagi and Waqf-e-Nau must offer the 5 daily prayers each day with punctuality and should carefully reflect upon the meaning of each prayer. It is also imperative that the Waqf-e-Nau strive to develop an unbreakable spiritual bond with the Khalifa of the time and display the highest standards of loyalty and obedience to the institution of Khilafah.
Fast forward to the next month, and on the 13th of May, 68 graduates of Jamia Ahmadiyya United Kingdom received their Shahid degrees from Hazur in a ceremony held in the campus of Jamia Ahmadiyya United Kingdom itself. These 68 fortunate individuals were made up of graduates from the previous 4 years who had not been able to receive their degrees due to the pandemic. Hazrat Khalifatul Masih addressed the students and proceeded to remind them of their purpose, as well as the constant need for self-assessment and the attainment of higher standards of morality and piety.
इस बात को हमेशा याद रखें, अब आपकी जिम्मेदारियां बढ़ गई हैं। तालिब इल्मी के ज़माने में एक और सोच होती है और जब मैदान अमल में इंसान आ जाता है तो बिल्कुल और सोच होती है। उस वक़्त फिर मुरब्बी और मुवल्ली को लोग देख रहे होते हैं, जायज़ा ले रहे होते हैं कि इसके अमल कैसे हैं, इसका इल्म कैसा है, इसकी बातों के मयार कैसे हैं।
Later in May, Hazur met a delegation of Ansarullah from Sweden and member of UK Parliament, Mr. Dean Russell. In addition to this, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih also delivered an address to the attendees of the National Majlis Shura United Kingdom.
In this era, having entered the fold of the Prophet Messiah al-Islam and taken his bath, those who serve his mission faithfully can also attain the status of being his companion. So I urge all of you to reflect upon the words of the Prophet Messiah al-Islam that Sahab asimila jab mujhko paya. You shall join the companions when you join with me.
We'll now move on to the 10th of June, where Hazur graced the annual European IAAE Symposium, in which Hazur was briefed on the various activities and developments of the organisation and distributed awards for notable achievements. Hazur addressed the gathering, reminding the attendees of the in-depth and comprehensive teachings of Islam regarding those in need.
Certainly, alongside providing technical and professional expertise to the Jamaat, the core objective underpinning the establishment of the IAAE was to serve the needs of the most vulnerable and weakest members of society. In order to fulfill this central objective, I initially directed you to focus on providing access to clean water to people living in extremely deprived and underprivileged parts of the world. Alhamdulillah, the IAAE has worked diligently to fulfill this directive by installing water wells and pumps in many remote villages and underdeveloped regions across Africa.
On the 17th of June, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih made his way to the city of Scunthorpe in the United Kingdom for the purpose of inaugurating the newly built and completed Baitul Salam Mosque. Hazur unveiled the plaque and led the gathering in silent prayer. He planted a tree in the grounds and delivered an address to more than 60 guests who were at the reception marking the opening of the mosque.
Given the climate in which we live, where there is a tendency to view Muslims with a degree of suspicion or even as extremists based on the portrayal of Islam in the media and the conduct of a few extremist individuals and groups in recent times. As a result, some of you may even fear that the opening of this mosque will lead to a new chapter in the history of extremism being written in your local community. In this regard, rest assured that nothing could be further from the truth.
Now we skip all the way to July, where 3 days brought the entire international Ahmadiyya Muslim community together more than ever before in the blessed days of the 57th annual Jalsa Salana United Kingdom, the first full-scale international Jalsa after the pandemic. This Jalsa brought together more than 41,000 people from 118 countries. Hazrat Khalifatul Masih inaugurated the Jalsa with an inspection and an address to the workers and volunteers of the Jalsa on the 23rd of July. The full Jalsa commenced a week later. The entire Jamaat was fortunate enough to be blessed with the prayers and the addresses of Hazur on all 3 days of the Jalsa, as well as the international Bai'at ceremony, in which more than 80 countries participated virtually, and which MTA International broadcasted in 5 separate live concurrent streams on its platforms.
जलसे के इनेकाद का एक बहुत बड़ा मकसद ये बताया है और इस बात पर बहुत ज़ोर दिया है कि इस जलसे में शामिल होने वालों में ज़ुहद और तक़वा पैदा हो जाए, और जब ये पैदा होगा तो खुदा ताला का कुर्ब पैदा होगा। अल्लाह ताला के बताए हुए रास्ते पर इंसान चलेगा, और जब ये होगा तो फिर ये हो ही नहीं सकता कि इंसान अल्लाह ताला के हक़ अदा करने में सुस्ती दिखाए या उसके बंदों के हुकूक अदा करने में सुस्ती दिखाए.
Both throughout and after the Jalsa, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih met with many delegations from all over the world, which consisted of non-Ahmadi guests, journalists, political and community leaders, and of course, Jamaat delegations from many countries, some of which were delegations from Gababir, the United States, Bolivia, Sierra Leone, and the Gambia.
We see that the number of people of African descent in the West and the Americas are rapidly growing due to several factors. What advice do you have for such migrants to help them integrate into the Western societies while preserving their identity, religious morals, and help them from having a sense of inferiority complex?
So never forget your language, your good things of your culture, so that you would know your roots, right?
Yes.
The worldly things should not only attract you. You always recite in your pledges that I will give precedence to my faith over the worldly matters. So always give precedence to your faith.
Only a few weeks later, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih would arrive in Frankfurt, Germany. Here, not only would Hazur meet thousands of Ahmadi Muslims personally, but after a gap of 4 years, Hazur also graced the Jalsa Salana in Germany with his presence, this time held in Stuttgart. The new Jalsa site brought together more than 47,000 guests from all over Europe and indeed the world. With Hazur once again gifting us with blessed and faith-inspiring addresses on all 3 days of the Jalsa, as well as a Bai'at ceremony.
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह आज जमात अहमदिया जर्मनी का जलसा सालाना 4 साल की पाबंदियों के बाद उसी पैमाने पर मुनक़िद हो रहा है. अल्लाह ताला सब शामिलीन जलसा को जलसा के मकासद को हासिल करने वाला बनाए और वो इस बात पर खुश ना हो जाएं कि अल्लाह ताला ने हमें दोबारा इकट्ठा होने का मौका दिया है तो एक दूसरे को मिल लेंगे, कुछ मजलिसें लगा लेंगे और बस नहीं, बल्कि एक बहुत बड़ा मकसद जलसे के इनेकाद का जो हज़रत मसीह मौऊद अलैहिस्सलाम ने हमें बताया है और बड़े दर्द से इसका इजहार भी किया, वो ये है कि आपकी बैत में शामिल होने वाले दीनी इल्म सीखें, रूहानियत में तरक्की करें, अल्लाह ताला से ताल्लुक़ और मोहब्बत में बढ़ें, रसूल करीम सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की मुकम्मल पैरवी करने वाले हों, आप सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम से मोहब्बत का ताल्लुक़ हो, दुनिया की मोहब्बत ठंडी हो और दीन मुकद्दम हो.
Similar to the Jalsa in the United Kingdom, Hazur met with delegations of Ahmadis throughout, as well as after the 3 days of Jalsa, that were eager to meet him. These delegations came from all over Europe, including some of the remotest parts of the world. Hazur met with more than 20 delegations from 35 countries, including Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, Serbia, Bulgaria, Cameroon, Uganda, Palestine, and even as far as the islands of Sao Tome and Suriname. Both before and after the Jalsa in Germany, Hazrat Anwar inaugurated mosques in many parts of Germany, and on each occasion spoke to Ahmadi and non-Ahmadi guests at reception events held for each mosque, not only expounding upon the teachings of Islam, but also explaining to the people just how the establishment of these mosques would be a source of cohesion and unity in their communities. These mosques were the Mubarak Mosque in Florstadt, the Sadiq Mosque in Karben, the Nasser Mosque in Waiblingen, the Noor Mosque in Frankenthal, and the Baitul Khabir Mosque in Funkstadt.
हुकूक अदा करना इस्लाम का बुनियादी हुक्म है. اسلام یہ تعلیم نہیں دیتا کہ صرف اپنے حقوق کے لیے لڑو. اسلام یہ کہتا ہے کہ دوسروں کے حق ادا کرنے کی کوشش کرو. جب تم دوسروں کے حق ادا کرنے کی کوشش کرو گے تو پھر دنیا میں امن بھی قائم ہوگا.
These mosque openings were not only a moment of joy for Ahmadi Muslims, but also a chance to bring all members of society together, bringing together members of parliament, councilmen, community leaders, and journalists, to name just a few.
Wherever we open our mosque, instead of being proud, we become very much humble and bow before Allah the Almighty, the omnipotent God, that He has given us the chance to open a place of worship in another town. The world is very bleak. So, if you realize it, then of course, yes, you can create peace. But how the world is going at present towards the crisis and the conflicts, I'm not very much optimistic.
The next month saw the beginning of Hazur addressing the various ijtimaat of the auxiliary organizations of the Jamaat in the United Kingdom, starting with the Lajna Imaila Ijtima on the 24th of September, followed by the Majlis Khudam al-Ahmadiyya Ijtima on the 1st of October, and finally the Majlis Ansarullah Ijtima on the 8th of October, which was joined virtually by participants of Majlis Ansarullah France and USA. In all these ijtimaat, Hazur emphasized the present need to make an individual and renewed effort into actively spreading the message of Islam Ahmadiyyat further than even before, and reminding us once again to not be lost in materialism and be bereft of God's blessings. On the Khudam and Ansar Ijtimaat, Hazur took a pledge from all, originally taken by Hazrat Muslim Maud Razilullah Ta'ala Anhu, on propagating the teachings of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in all parts of the world.
ہم اللہ تعالیٰ کی قسم کھا کر اس بات کا اقرار کرتے ہیں کہ ہم اسلام اور احمدیت کی اشاعت اور محمد رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کا نام دنیا کے کناروں تک پہنچانے کے لیے اپنی زندگیوں کے آخری لمحات تک کوشش کرتے چلے جائیں گے اور اس مقدس فریضے کی تکمیل کے لیے ہمیشہ اپنی زندگیاں خدا اور اس کے رسول صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کے لیے وقف رکھیں گے.
Another historic milestone this year was the completion of 19 years of the fifth phase of the Tehreek-e-Jadid scheme. In his Friday sermon on the 3rd of November, Hazur Anwar re-emphasized the need for financial sacrifice solely to gain the love of Allah the Almighty, and outlined the purpose of the scheme, which results in the spread of mosques, creating mu'allimeen who go on to teach the translations of the Holy Quran and other Islamic literature around the world. Hazur then announced the launch of the 6th phase and the next 19 years of Tehreek-e-Jadid, making Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V the second Khalifa after Hazrat Muslim Maud Raziyallahu Anhu to launch more than one phase of Tehreek-e-Jadid in their lifetime.
دفتر اول کے مجاہدین کو جب 10 سال پورے ہو گئے تو پھر حضرت خلیفۃ المسیح ثانی نے دوسرے دفتر کا اعلان فرمایا اور اس میں بعد میں آنے والے شامل ہوئے اور اس کا عرصہ انہوں نے 19 سال مقرر فرمایا اور فرمایا کہ آئندہ یہ دفتر 19 سال کے بعد قائم ہوتے چلے جائیں گے. ہر 19 سال کے بعد ایک دفتر 19 سال کا ہوگا، پھر اگلا شروع ہو جائے گا. 2004 میں جب یہ عرصہ ختم ہوا 19 سال کا تو پھر میں نے دفتر پنجم کا اجرا کیا اور آج پھر 19 سال پورے ہونے پر میں دفتر ششم کے آغاز کا اعلان کرتا ہوں. اب نئے شامل ہونے والے نوآئین بھی اور نئے پیدا ہونے والے بچے بھی یا جو بھی پہلے کسی دفتر میں نہیں ہیں دفتر ششم میں شامل ہوں گے. اللہ تعالیٰ کی فضل سے میں نئے سال کا اعلان کرتا ہوں. تحریک-ے-جدید کا 89واں سال 31 اکتوبر کو اختتام پذیر ہوا और अब हम 90वें साल में दाखिल हो रहे हैं.
It was around the same time that the escalation of the Israel and Hamas war was resulting in the reported deaths of a saddeningly disproportionate number of civilians in Palestine on a daily basis. Hazur condemned the violent actions on both sides, and in his weekly sermons not only asked Ahmadis to fervently pray for the innocents that were suffering, but called on war leaders to drop their double standards and to come together as a horrible international and catastrophic war looms ever closer unless they adopt the principles of justice and fairness. Under Hazur's guidance, the Voices for Peace campaign was also launched to draw attention of world leaders to de-escalate and establish peace.
जैसा कि मैं फ़लस्तीनियों के लिए दुआ के लिए भी कहता रहता हूँ, दुआ करें, जुल्म के ख़िलाफ़ हकीकी अमल की दुनिया को अल्लाह ताला तौफ़ीक दे. इसी तरह मुसलमान ममालिक को, जैसा कि मैंने पहले भी कहा था, एक होकर और एक आवाज़ होकर बोलना चाहिए. अगर दुनिया के 53 ममालिक कहे जाते हैं मुसलमान हैं, एक आवाज़ में बोलें तो ये बड़ी ताकत होगी और इसका असर भी होगा. फिर हमारे बुज़ुर्ग अहमदी शेख अहमद हुसैन अबू सरदाना साहब शहीद हुए. इन्ना लिल्लाहि व इन्ना इलैहि राजिऊन. कुरान मजीद से गैर मामूली लगाव था. हर हफ्ते में एक बार
And finally, now that we're at the end of the year, earlier today on the 31st of December, Hazrat Amir al-Momineen addressed the 128th Jalsa Salana in Qadian from Islamabad on the third day of the gathering for the concluding address, once again reminding us of the need to establish a relationship with our Creator and to use these occasions to reinvigorate our faith and to reaffirm our responsibilities not only towards our God, but also to our fellow brothers and sisters.
आज आप लोग जो कादियान में जलसा में शामिल हैं और वो सब लोग जो अपने अपने ममालिक में जलसा में शामिल हैं, इस बात की तस्दीक कर रहे हैं कि हज़रत मिर्ज़ा ग़ुलाम अहमद अलैहिस्सलाम यकीनन वही मसीह माऊद और महदी माऊद हैं जो हज़रत सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की पेशगोई के मुताबिक आए और जिनके साथ अल्लाह ताला की ताईदात हमेशा रही हैं और रहेंगी इंशाअल्लाह.
These were just some of the public engagements of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih. Throughout the year and on almost weekly basis, Hazur held mulaqats with Khudam, Atfal, Nasirat, Lajna and Ansar from all over the world. Every Friday, without fail, Hazrat Khalifatul Masih continued to bless us with sermons on events from the life of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the shining examples of his Sahaba. Not to mention the thousands and thousands of Ahmadi families and individuals he met with personally on an almost daily basis, and the many thousands more of letters and correspondence he answered. Even a single day of the activities of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih is difficult to comprehend in its volume and scale, which makes it even more incumbent upon us to remember our beloved Khalifa in our daily prayers, that may Allah ease his task, bless him with success in his endeavours, and enable us as Ahmadi Muslims to live up to his expectations.
फूल तुम पर फरिश्ते निछावर करे और कुशादा तरक्की.
In the years spanning from July 2022 to July 2023, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community has made remarkable strides in its global mission. Let us take a journey through these milestones. Now, under the divine guidance of Hazur Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasrihil Aziz, the community has expanded its presence and impact in numerous ways. Over the year, 329 new Jamaats were established, and 1,016 new places witnessed the growth of Ahmadiyyat. There was an increase of 185 Ahmadiyya Muslim mosques, including 125 newly established ones. Notably, Ghana saw the construction of several new mosques, and the growth was evident in many other countries. In Pakistan, where our faith faces restrictions, the government has not only prevented prayers in mosques, but also demolished some. However, in other countries, by the grace of Allah, Ahmadiyya mosques continue to be a symbol of peace and worship. 124 new mission houses were established across Africa, Europe, and other continents, furthering the outreach of the community. In a significant literary endeavor, the community translated the Holy Quran into 76 languages, with some translations ready for print. Additionally, 5 books of the promised Messiah alayhi salam were translated into English, a testament to spreading the message of Islam. The layout of the Holy Quran was also improved, ensuring that each verse concludes at the same point on every page. In German, 82 books of the promised Messiah alayhi salam were translated, with 10 translated in the last year alone. This effort expanded to various other major languages of India. More than 5.89 million copies of various books and pamphlets in 47 languages were published, reaching out to millions across the world. Exhibitions, bookstores, and book fairs have been instrumental in spreading the message of Ahmadiyya. In the past year, 9,166 exhibitions were held, and over 420,000 people were reached. The community maintains a network of over 600 regional and central libraries, with books supplied from London and Qadian. Great efforts of various desks in the community have helped propagate Islam Ahmadiyyat, such as the Russian desk, Bangla desk, French desk, Turkish desk, Chinese desk, Swahili desk, Indonesian desk, and Spanish desk, which are involved in the translation and spreading of the message of Ahmadiyyat. Over 11 million leaflets were distributed in 107 countries, introducing over 18 million people to Islam Ahmadiyyat. Al-Hakam, another important publication, is making steady progress, publishing weekly without fail.
The Review of Religions, a magazine initiated by the promised Messiah, peace be upon him, has been working to introduce the world to the true teachings of Islam.
The promised Messiah alayhi salam established this magazine. It has been published for 121 years. Over 200,000 copies were published this year. It is now published in multiple languages. Makhzan-e-Tasawir, housing 1.3 million photographs and objects, saw an increase of 801 items this year. The Ahmadiyya community is flourishing with a total of 80,600 waqifin, with over 39,000 being over 15 years old. The Ahmadiyya Archive and Research Center plays a crucial role in preserving the history and teachings of the community, and it has carried on to do so this year too. The Central Department of IT, the Press and Media Office, and Al-Islam website, along with MTA, are pivotal in spreading the message of Ahmadiyyat through modern technology. MTA has expanded its reach with 506 individuals, most of whom are volunteers, operating 8 channels 24/7. It has also established new studios worldwide. The Ahmadiyya radio stations, numbering 25, play a vital role in propagation and outreach, with specific stations in various languages. The International Association of Ahmadiyya Architects and Engineers, IEEE, AMJ, Central Legal Department, Nusrat Jihad Scheme, Humanity First, and Contact with New Ahmadis are all contributing to the betterment of society and humanity. In the year, over 217,000 souls embraced Islam Ahmadiyyat, with Nigeria leading in bay'ats, a testimony to the community's global impact and appeal.
In the year 2023, the largest number of people converting to the Ahmadiyya Muslim community was from Nigeria, with the most mosques being established in Ghana. Let's take a look at how all this was possible.
One cannot sit inside as Jamaat or missionaries and expect that those bayats will come. Sometimes when it's becoming, a bit challenging in the cities, we move to the rural area as well. And the people of rural area are definitely going to welcome us, and a number of them will sign the bayat. We have situations where a whole imam, together with all his Jamaat members and their mosque, are converted into the Jamaat. And this is the reason we were able to record the number of bayats that we have in Nigeria. And another very key point is that the Jamaat had already also done a lot of work in the past. For instance, Jamaat had about 52 secondary schools all over Nigeria. So most of the leaders, whether king, people in very high posts in Nigeria, they have passed through the Jamaat schools, either primary schools, secondary schools. So they already know what Ahmadiyya is all about in their environment. So it's much, fairly easier when we get to those environments that the leadership, accept, the Jamaat for us to be able to talk to people.
We were able to construct not less than 57 mosques at various places. This construction of mosques becomes necessary because of the mass conversions that we are making in Ghana these days. People are making bayah and trooping into the Jamaat in their thousands. Our local members are themselves very well motivated. And it isn't that they just invite the Jamaat to come and put up mosques for them, but even areas and places where they don't have the money to put up mosques. The Jamaat only makes the materials available, but the members are so motivated that they are always prepared to do the remaining work that is left. The labor that is required, they are always prepared to provide it. Apart from communal labor for the purposes of putting up our mosques, there are very well motivated, spirited persons among members of the Jamaat who contribute handsomely monies towards the construction of mosques in various parts of the country. There are no bottlenecks. Nobody stands our way when it comes to constructing a mosque. We understand in other jurisdictions, Ahmadis have been stopped from building mosques. They have been stopped from calling their places of worship mosques. It's not so in Ghana. We can't put up 1 million mosques in Ghana in a year, provided we have the funds. But the commitment of the Jamaat members is there, and I believe sooner we would be able to have mosques in each and every town, village, and hamlet in this country, insha'Allah ta'ala.
We've just heard about how the Ahmadiyya Muslim community has been progressing in Africa. Now we'll go all the way to India, Qadian, the birthplace of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, to find out more about what they have done in 2023.
कादियान के मकामात मुक़द्दसा और तारीख़ी इमारतों को रेनोवेट और रिस्टोर करने का तारीख़ी काम भी हुज़ूर अनवर अय्यदहुल्लाह ताला बिनस्रिहिल अज़ीज़ की खुसूसी तवज्जो व रहनुमाई में सरअंजाम दिया गया है। मुख्तलिफ महल्ला जात में अहमदी आबादियों के पेश नज़र 2 खूबसूरत मसाजिद, मस्जिद बशीर और मस्जिद मुमताज़ कादियान दारुल अमान में तामीर की गई हैं। कादियान में साल भर अंदरून व बैरून मुल्क से हज़रत अक़दस मसीह मऊद अलैहिस्सलातु वस्सलाम के मेहमानान कराम तशरीफ़ लाते हैं। उनकी रिहाइश के लिए मुख्तलिफ़ गेस्ट हाउसेस हर किस्म की सहूलत के साथ तामीर किए गए हैं। 2 मंजिला गेस्ट हाउस सराय अय्यूब की तामीर अमल में लाई गई और सराय मुबारका की भी रेनोवेशन अमल में लाई गई है, जिससे मेहमानाने कराम के लिए रिहाइश का बेहतर इंतज़ाम हो गया है। मकान हज़रत खलीफतुल मसीह अव्वल रज़ी अल्लाह ताला अन्हो की भी रेनोवेशन अमल में लाई गई है और इस जगह जमाती कुतुब खाना का क़याम अमल में लाया गया है। कादियान में वाक़फ़ीन ज़िंदगी की रिहाइश के लिए रिहायशी क्वार्टर्स की भी तामीर का काम हुआ है। جماعت احمدیہ بھارت کو نشر و اشاعت کے حوالہ سے بھی دوران سال نمایاں خدمات سر انجام دینے کی توفیق ملی۔ امسال نظارت نشر و اشاعت کے زیر اہتمام 17 ٹائٹل شائع کیے گئے ہیں۔ بفضلہ تعالی امسال 5 پیس سمپوزیمز منعقد کیے گئے ہیں۔ 3 کالجز و سکولز میں سیمینارز کا انعقاد کیا گیا ہے۔ 19 بک فیئرز میں حصہ لے کر اس کے ذریعہ بھی اسلام کی امن بخش تعلیمات سے لوگوں کو متعارف کرایا گیا۔ شعبہ MTA قادیان کی طرف سے 172 پروگرامز تیار کیے گئے ہیں۔ افراد جماعت کی تعلیم و تربیت کی خاطر ہندوستان بھر میں 198 لائبریریز کا قیام بھی عمل میں لایا گیا ہے۔ حضور انور ایدہ اللہ تعالی بنصرہ العزیز کی خصوصی رہنمائی میں پریس اور میڈیا کے ذریعہ بھی اسلام اور احمدیت کے پیغام کو وسیع پیمانے پر لوگوں تک پہنچایا جا رہا ہے۔ امسال کم و بیش 767 آرٹیکلز اور 108 خبریں نشر ہوئی ہیں، جس سے وسیع پیمانے پر جماعت کا پیغام ہندوستان کی عوام تک پہنچا ہے۔ خلافت خامسہ کے بابرکت دور میں اللہ تعالیٰ کے فضل سے واقفین نو کثیر تعداد میں اپنی تعلیم مکمل کر کے اور اپنے شعبہ میں مہارت حاصل کر کے اپنے آپ کو خدمت کے لیے پیش کر رہے ہیں۔ امسال 17 واقفین نے اپنی زندگی خدمت اسلام و احمدیت کے لیے پیش کی ہے اور مختلف مرکزی دفاتر میں خدمات بجا لا رہے ہیں۔ بنین و انسان کی خدمت کرنا جماعت احمدیہ کا ترہ امتیاز ہے۔ اللہ تعالیٰ کے فضل سے جماعت احمدیہ بھارت ہر وقت ہی انسانیت کی خدمت کر رہی ہے۔ گزشتہ دنوں پنجاب میں سیلاب کے موقع پر جماعت احمدیہ بھارت نے بڑھ چڑھ کر انسانیت کی خدمت کی۔ اس کے علاوہ سال بھر 28 میڈیکل کیمپس منعقد کیے گئے ہیں، جن سے 4200 مریضان نے استفادہ کیا ہے۔ 35 خون کے عطیہ کے کیمپس منعقد کیے گئے ہیں اور مثالی وقار عمل کے ذریعے سے پبلک جگہوں کی صفائی ستھرائی بھی کی گئی ہے، جس سے علاقے کے لوگوں پر اچھا اثر پڑا ہے اور جماعت کی خدمات کو انہوں نے سراہا ہے۔
By the grace of Allah the Almighty, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community started from its roots in Qadian and has now spread all over the world. An international mission, of course, warrants an international structure. And today, we'll be talking to the central departments of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, who are spearheading the projects of the Ahmadiyya movement, propelling it towards success under the guidance of Khilafat. The first department we'll be talking to today is the Foreign Missions Office. Qamar Zafar Saab is going to be giving us a brief background on what they do.
Jazakallah Mansoor, and of course I'll be giving you very short introductions about all of the departments that we'll be delving into during the span of this show, and very fittingly we are going to start with Wakalat Tabshir right behind me, which is located in Islamabad, UK. And this department is directly responsible for the propagation of Islam Ahmadiyyat throughout the entire world and disseminating the guidance of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasrih al-Aziz, to all of the foreign missions and all of the bayats, the conversions throughout the world, the many different ways to spread the message of Islam is done through this department. And to find out, of course, a little bit more about what this office has been doing in 2023, we will now go back to the studio to find out a little bit more.
I'm actually honoured to be joined here today in the studio by Rashid Ahmed Saab, who's a staff member of the Tabshir office, i.e. the Foreign Missions Office. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Rashid Saab, of course, we've heard a little bit about some of the works going on. Could you tell us a little bit about some of the fantastic projects that are going on with regards to Tabligh? What's happening and what is the result of that?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Of course, as the founding principle of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is to propagate the true message of Islam to the corners of the earth. So Jamaat is using various mediums and sources that are available in this time and age in order and utilizing them to spread the true message of Islam. During the last year, so more than 11 million and 700,000 leaflets were distributed all over the world. This includes, Europe, Asia, America, Canada, and even the remotest countries, of South America, such as Uruguay, Honduras, Belize, Paraguay, Jamaica, Guyana, Bolivia, and you name it, So, and then when it comes to the printing of literature, so during the last year, 448 different books or booklets or folders were printed in different 47 languages.
Wow!
And the total number of the books that were printed is more than 5 million.
Wow!
So more than 5 million booklets and the booklets, folders, and different sort of literature was published and was printed, and then it was distributed to the people. And similarly, when you talk about the exhibitions, so 9,166 exhibitions were set up across the world, and 400,000 people have visited these exhibitions, as per the reports received from the Jamaats. Similarly, book stalls in public places and book fairs, in public places as well as in book fairs.
Right.
They were set up around 8,567 bookstalls were set up, and more than 1.7 million people visited these bookstalls, and they were introduced to the Jamaat Ahmadiyya through these bookstalls and the exhibitions. And so it's, apart from that, 1,774 free copies of the Holy Quran were distributed among the seekers of the truth. Ahmadiyyat has been introduced into more than 200 countries, to be precise, 216 countries.
This is the kind of the one side of things in terms of the means and methods and the efforts of the Jamaat. What is the outcome of all of this? Do we have any facts and figures to talk about how many people have joined the community, the new establishment of communities and Jamaats around the world? What is going on that front?
Yes, alhamdulillah. I mean, this work is definitely is giving us results, as we are seeing. And Hazur, delivers the second day of Jalsa Salana speech, and Hazur explains with details, about all the progress that has been made during the year. And during the last year, around more than 195 mosques were built all over the world. And the total number of the mosque built by or owned by the Jamaat, has exceeded 9,000. 329 new Jamaats were established. And then we have around 134 new mission houses established around the world. And similarly, when you talk about the propagation of Islam, Ahmadiyyat, so, another name comes is Jamia Ahmadiyya,
Course,
So we
yes.
have different Jamiat Ahmadiyya in Africa, in Europe, in Canada, and the missionaries are increasing, and they are being posted to the different areas of the world, and they are propagating. And every year, we're receiving hundreds of missionaries, new missionaries that going into the field and spreading the message of Islam.
So it's amazing to see how many different places are flourishing and surviving because of this message of Islam, but also they are living to propagate this message of Islam as well. And it's really good to have that in-depth understanding as to the fantastic goings on and the achievements and the successes of the Jamaat. Of course, all of these are purely down to the prayers and efforts of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, and of course the blessings and fazail of Allah the Almighty. Rashid Ahmed Saab, Jazakumullah, thank you very much for giving us this insight behind the scenes as to the successes and the triumphs of the Jamaat Ahmadiyya. Jazakumullah. The work of propagating the message of the promised Messiah, Hazrat Masih Maud, as-salatu-was-salam, is one of the most important jobs that we can do as Ahmadis. Indeed, it is the pivotal reason why we are here as Ahmadis. To understand the effect of this and the amazing projects that are going on in the United Kingdom, first of all, we spoke to National Secretary Tabligh, Muhammad Ibrahim Ikhlaf Saab.
In 2023, 198 bay'ats. In 2023, among them 34 nations enter Jamaati Ahmadiyya. And as far as interfaith events, as far as peace conferences, as far as big iftars, the Blirdens, we had 472 events. Then we have as well campaigns. For example, we have an ongoing Stop World War III campaign. We had a joint program, a stream on True Islam, and we created such a platform that we invited all our converts around the world. And alhamdulillah, it was so successful. Moreover, we have so many other streams where we, for example, challenged the da'wah-wise. In one of the videos, we had 71,000 views by Allah's grace. During Jalsa Salana, I think this is also Allah's grace. And we had beautiful exhibition this year on the sun, for example, and moon eclipse. And we had an indoor planetarium. We are creating now as well Children Handbook 2023. And that is according to the level of our teenagers and youngsters, you know, how to tackle common atheistic arguments, as well as providing, again, evidence in support of existence of Allah.
So that gives us a bit more of an in-depth understanding as to the fantastic works, endeavours and projects going on in the United Kingdom. In similar regard, we actually spoke to Hafiz Farid Ahmed Khalid Saab, who is the National Secretary Tabligh of the Germany Jamaat.
हज़ूर अक़दस ने बास टारगेट मुकर्रर किए हुए थे कि इस साल तक ये अचीवमेंट शोबा तबलीग के लिहाज से होनी चाहिए, जिसमें कि एक बहुत अहम टारगेट ये था कि जर्मनी की 100% आबादी यानी कि 80 मिलियन से ज़ायद आबादी तक जो है जमात का पैगाम पहुंचना चाहिए। इस साल, सिर्फ इस साल उसको कंप्लीट करने के लिए 6 मिलियन से ज़ायद फ्लायर जो हैं वो तकसीम हुए हैं। जहाँ पे भी हम लीफलेटिंग या कोई तबलीगी प्रोग्राम का आगाज़ करते थे तो सबसे पहले वहाँ पे ज़िली सतह पर एक प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस की जाती थी, ताकि मीडिया के ज़रिए अपनी कैंपेन को जो है वो अनाउंस किया जाए कि हम यहाँ पे ये चीज़ें जो है वो करने लगे हैं। सिर्फ इस साल 35 शहरों में 100 से ज़्यादा हज़रत इस्लाम के बिल बोर्ड, जो बड़े बड़े बिल बोर्ड्स थे, पूरे जर्मनी के 35 शहरों में वो लगाए गए। इसके साथ साथ नुमाइशों का सिलसिला 2 किस्म से जारी रहता है, एक बड़ी नुमाइशें, एक छोटी नुमाइशें हैं। तकरीबन 300 के करीब जो नुमाइशें हैं वो इस साल लगी हैं। और उसके अलावा 2 ऐसे इवेंट हैं साल में जिनको करने से एक बड़ी तादाद जो है उसमें शामिल होती है, जिसको कि हम मोशे ओपन मॉस्क डे बनाते हैं। जर्मनी में हम 1 मई को मनाते हैं और 3 अक्टूबर को, जो कि इत्तेहाद का दिन है इनका। जो तबलीगी स्टॉल है उसको इस एतबार से तैयार किया गया है कि अगर कोई शख्स उस स्टॉल को विज़िट ना भी करे तो गुज़रते हुए भी इतना मैसेज ले जाए कि हमारा मैसेज उस तक पहुँच सके। तो वो भी हमारा औसतन जो है 1500 से ज़ायद जो तबलीगी स्टॉल हैं वो इन साल वो लगे हैं। और हमें इस लिहाज से इसका ये फ़ायदा होता है कि जो हमारी हॉटलाइन है, 2 ऐसे फ़ीचर्स हैं जो शोबा तबलीग की तरफ से जारी हैं कि 3 ज़ुबानों में, जर्मन, तुर्की और अरब ज़ुबान में ज़ेर तबलीग अफराद के लिए 24 घंटे हॉटलाइन है और 2 रेडियोज़ हैं 24 घंटे जो चल रहे हैं, जो पूरी दुनिया में सुने जा सकते हैं, तुर्की और अरबी ज़ुबान में, और हमारा जर्मन ज़ुबान में भी है।
We've just heard from Rashid Zafar Sahib about the excellent propagation efforts being done by the Ahmadiyya Muslim community all around the world. And one such example is Canada. Let's take a look at what they've been doing in 2023.
I had to accept the promised Messiah. I read the philosophy of the teachings of Islam. I knew I had already hit gold. I didn't need to look for anything else.
This year, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat and Majlis Khudam al-Ahmadiyya Canada launched 2 amazing initiatives. One of them was called Explore Islam 1000 Towns. So the Explore Islam 1000 Towns campaign was launched after we saw a StatsCan survey that was released about Canadians and their affiliation with religion. And this survey released some very interesting data that Canadians had drifted away from God, and there was about a 30% increase from the prior survey with regards to affiliation to atheism. And this was in line with the instructions of beloved Hazur Anwar, Aidullah Ta'ala bin Nasr Aziz, who has consistently been guiding us to go into remote towns and villages, because the people and the inhabitants of these areas are far more likely to listen to you and to think about faith and spirituality. They are people that are not steeped into the shackles of the world. They are not flooded with materialism. They still care about family and traditional values. And we felt when we went to these places that this was exactly the case.
There's a notion in the West that religion is kind of a dying thing, or that people don't want to just discuss it anymore. But in fact, there are lots of people just at home, lots of people you're just not interacting with. So how do you give them the message of Islam? There are more people now than ever before silently searching for the truth. And they're not listening to what the news is saying or what anti-religious people are saying. They're just allowing their heart to guide them. And we just have to make sure that we're there to receive them.
It's kind of a random thing, but I was just watching a podcast and the person just made a very good point. He said that Islam is the only religion. And he gave the exact reason why. He said, the Muslims are the only people that are willing to defend their beliefs. They're the only people that if you challenge them on it, they'll actually stand up and give their reasons, they'll defend their beliefs. So after the podcast, I did do some Googling and my usual YouTube search, watch some YouTubers or whatever, but after a while I did realize that there's no way I'm gonna learn about this religion the way I'm supposed to unless I go to the source. I knew I needed to go and get myself a Quran. I needed to read it in English and I needed to form my own opinion on it. When I started reading the Quran, it was really easy for me, or I was very intrigued. I wanted to keep reading. It was like almost like a page-turning book. Like I don't need to question, for example, if God loves his creation because it's so obvious from reading the Quran. And it's said so many times that if I think something might go against that, I know it's probably wrong.
In a mulaqat with Khudam al-Ahmadiyya's National Amla, Hazur stated that aap new avenues explore kare tabligh ke liye. And so this got everybody thinking about what are new avenues and how has the world shifted towards the digital transformation.
So after reading a good amount of the Quran, I started to think about what I have to do to actually become a Muslim, right? So that's actually what I searched up. I went on my computer and I searched up, how do you become a Muslim?
A lot of people were searching, I want to become a Muslim, or how to join Islam. We leveraged the latest digital marketing techniques to essentially get our website, joinislam.ca, ranking at the top of the search engines. So when anybody in Canada would search this term or any of these phrases, that they would end up on our website.
I found Join Islam, so I clicked on it and I found that you can send a message. You can put your name or whatever, your phone number, and you can write a little message. The very next day I got a phone call and the person on the phone was saying they're from Join Islam and they wanted to talk with me. They wanted to know if I had any questions. And actually, honestly, I was free at the time, but I was so overwhelmed, I said, oh, sorry, I'm busy. I had to think, I did some reflection, and then I called the person back. And then we had a full-blown conversation. I asked all the questions I wanted to ask. The next step was to meet up with the person I was talking to in real life. He took me to the mosque, and that's when I saw people praying for the first time. I felt like I didn't belong there, but at the same time, I also did feel like I belonged there because I believed, I truly felt like I believed in the same things that they believed in. When I went to Peace Village, when I went to the community, it was like I'm leaving a different world and I'm entering into a new world. And then once I left, it was like so jarring because I was like, oh, I'm going back to the real world now. It's so disappointing. That experience when I first went into the mosque and actually seeing the community was kind of the evidence that I needed that I was in the right place, that I was not making a mistake. So I was very fortunate that I was led directly to this community and I didn't have to take any detours along the way. This community has one leader. If you don't have that, you have divisiveness, you have division. And if you look at the Islamic world outside of the Jamaat, that's what you'll find division. So I just got, alhamdulillah, I was very fortunate that God directed me directly here.
Some of these people who have contacted us through the online campaigns, we've gone to meet them, and we've traveled sometimes 7 hours, 10 hours, 15 hours to meet them. And they were surprised that why would we travel so far to meet them just to give them some information. But they don't know how far we're willing to travel to give them the message. With the guidance from beloved Hazur, he said all the corners of Canada must be met.
मौत के आने से पहले ही फना हो जाओ.
Here we we have the Voice of Islam radio in the United Kingdom, which is one of the 26 radio stations of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, served with the objectives of propagating Islam through radio platforms. We also have in the digital and broadcasting world, MTA International, which is the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat's global broadcaster, which has now also explored avenues into the online and on-demand world, and by the grace of Allah, now has 8 channels broadcasting globally. And of course, we also have alislam.org, which is a central website of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, which provides educational and training material in the forms of articles and multimedia for the Ahmadi audience to learn and teach. To find out a little bit more about what these departments have achieved in 2023, we will now go to the studio to speak to their representatives.
I shall cause thy message to reach the corners of the earth. A very well-known revelation to the promised Messiah, ﷺ. Now, of course, this reaches its fulfillment in many different ways, not least by the fantastic organs within the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, utilizing various forms of media to propagate this message to the people living in all parts of the world. Now, it's my privilege to introduce the people that we have in the studio today and also online as well. We have online with us Masood Nasser Sahib, who is Director of Technology and Operations with the Al-Islam team. We have to my left Munir Odesab, Director of Productions at MTA International. Faiz Ahmed Nasser Sahib, Head of Programming at MTA Africa, and Mujib Ahmed Mirza Sahib, General Secretary of the Voice of Islam Radio. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi, gentlemen. Of course, we've talked a bit about media and about the importance, and we've had somewhat of an introduction to what these departments really are. Nasser Sahib, if I can start with you. Working with the Al-Islam team, of course, we've all grown up looking at and visiting the Al-Islam website, but 2023 has brought with it some challenges and also some fantastic opportunities. How did the Al-Islam team find 2023? What are some of the projects that they undertook, and could you bring some of those to the attention of the viewers?
Yeah, so 2023 has introduced AI as a new concept to the public. So that's one of the things that Al-Islam team is actively working on, using AI to make the content of Jamaat accessible and searchable. So that's an ongoing project. But in terms of, if we just look at the technology itself, last 2 decades, the technology has been changing. So we are adopting and utilizing these new platforms and media formats, such as podcasts is being used to deliver Friday sermons. Now we are even publishing audiobooks, addresses of Khalifatul Masih. Similarly, we have other formats for books. Audiobooks are being published on Audible, ebooks on Amazon Kindle, Apple Books, Google Play, and we have recently started publishing Urdu books as well. So we were publishing English books for a while, and in last 1 year we have published more than 50 books of Jamaat on these platforms.
Which is fantastic to see how many different media forms are being utilized to show the message of Islam. Masood, Nasser, just staying with you, to understand the kind of obstacles and bringing about, with the virtual mulaqats and everything else, we're going to be speaking a little bit to Munir Odesab about the virtual mulaqats as well. But understanding the kind of new, at the forefront almost, as it were. You've mentioned AI, you've mentioned audiobooks. Is there anything that you perhaps would mention that we don't know about, something that behind the scenes that you could tell us about, that's something that's really people are looking forward to with the year up and coming, and also maybe something that you've been working on in the past few months?
Yeah, so one of the new features that is very exciting, and we have received a lot of positive feedback, is the when you're reading Holy Quran, and you may be able to see it on screen as well, that now you can actually see contextual meaning of the words of Arabic. So all you have to do is just hover your mouse over, and you can see the meaning of that word. And when you are on mobile, you can just tap the word, and you can go into the settings and either select English or Urdu. So in both languages, you can read the meaning.
That's fantastic to hear. That's fantastic to hear. Munir Odesab, coming to yourself, Of course, we all are very familiar with the fantastic entity that is MTA International. And I know every year it's, alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah, it goes from strength to strength. Could you tell us a little bit about what's gone on in 2023? Any kind of key highlights that you feel are worthy of mention to the viewers at home?
By the grace of Allah, subhanahu wa ta'ala, MTA continues to expand as it has expanded over the last 25, 26 years. And actually this is a continuation, or actually a manifestation of the prophecy of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Actually a prophecy or that was meant to manifest at the time of the Imam Mahdi, when the religion will be manifest to the whole world. The religion of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam will be manifest to the whole world. لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ. And this is the time, these are the means that were provided to the Promised Messiah والسلام, and his khulafa after him, whether it's from as-suhuf wa nushirat, publications and newspapers and periodicals, to the usage of technology, as you've heard from our brother in Canada, Al-Islam, and all other organizations that are present here. And MTA, probably the largest manifestation over the last 25 years in propagating that message of Islam to the corners of the world. Absolutely. So MTA continues to expand its reach to new audiences. There is a lot of expansion on the IP delivery, which is compatible with smart TVs wherever the internet connectivity is becoming a norm. And that is providing a much higher quality and a better viewing experience at home. Just worth mentioning that MTA uses over 11 satellites to distribute its 8 channels, and we have terrestrial channels that are also operating. Some of them are in Africa, but Suriname, Belize, and we're exploring other areas as well. And Hazrat Amir al-Mu'mineen bin Abdul Aziz also has approved a broadcast dedicated for Indonesia, and that has been developed. It started with a MTA 3 broadcast being delivered to over 300 million people in Indonesia on their own local direct-to-home service. And that is being progressed to give a localized content, localized feed for those people. The other expansion for MTA is obviously the conversion of its channels to high definition. We have had some that have changed in the past, but this year our platform on Sky has been changed to HD to provide that better, crispier experience for the people who live in the UK and Europe. And continuing on the expansion is the MTA studios that are being built around the world. The studios that were established, some will be covered by our Africa department, inshallah. But one to mention this year is the establishment of the new building for the Indonesian operation in Jakarta. It's a 3-story building where MTA studios will be established and set for recordings, but also live programs, inshallah. And there are other projects still happening in Europe to create a smaller bureaus like Holland, Belgium, Sweden, and other countries are in the pipeline.
It's inspiring to hear, and of course this is without mentioning any of the actual work that's going on with individuals within those buildings and what work they're doing and the tireless efforts that they're performing as well. Faiz Nasser Sahab, we've heard a bit about MTA International, and Munir Sahab has already alluded to the existence of MTA Africa and the fantastic work going on there. I remember a couple of years back, I went to Sierra Leone and I saw the impact on the ground of these people when they were watching MTA in their own language. It was beautiful for them to know and beautiful to see them, how they responded to that. Could you tell us a little bit about MTA Africa, the work that's been going on in 2023 and kind of the ethos behind the projects that's going on?
Yeah, so MTA Africa basically started in 2016, and as Munir Sahab just mentioned, out of the 8 MTA channels, 2 are dedicated purely for Africa, which is MTA Africa 4 and 5. And apart from those 2 channels, we have MTA Ghana and MTA Gambia as well. And our main job as a central department is to oversee those studios. We have over 14 studios or full-time offices across Africa, and our job is to purely oversee them, guide them if they need any help. One of our main tasks, as instructed by Hazur, is to sort of provide information or content to the African viewers in their local languages. And we're now at a stage where we are recording or producing content in over 10 languages, alhamdulillah. And this year alone, we recorded over 950 programs, which is remarkable, alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah. Apart from that, MTA Africa also works with external TV stations across Africa. So we have a lot of partnerships, and in general, we provide them training as well, like you can see on the screen. And this year alone, we provided training in Ghana, Gambia, Sierra Leone, and Uganda. And what happens is that because of those training sessions that we give them, they're certified training sessions, in return, sort of because of the partnership that we have with them, the Jalsa Salana broadcast, it goes out on external channels across Africa as well, which is a huge thing. So viewers may think that the Jalsa broadcast is just being, it just goes on air on MTA channels, but rather it goes on 24, 25 different channels across Africa, which is a huge thing as well. And this year alone, alhamdulillah, we made new partnerships in Malawi, Liberia, Burundi, and Rwanda. And apart from that, we opened 2 new studios this year. One is in Kenya and one is in Nigeria. And we opened 2 new full-time offices in Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast, and Mayotte as well. And this is actually the first year where MTA Mayotte recorded their first series of programs, and for that they traveled to MTA Mauritius. So what happens is that where we have a studio, there obviously the countries, they record their programs in multiple languages, but some countries where we just have offices, their teams sort of travel to the nearest closest country where there is a studio available. So that's why it's not necessary to have a studio in every country. Rather, some of the teams, they put in a lot of time and effort to travel to other countries and record their programs there. Another key thing that we focused on this year is a village documentary project. Okay. So as per the instructions of Hazrat Amir al-Mu'mineen, may Allah be his helper, we were instructed to go into the remotest parts of Africa and capture stories of how people are converting to Islam, Ahmadiyyat, and how the message of the promised Messiah is reaching those far areas.
And you've mentioned Africa, actually, and I think one of the most effective ways, in addition to MTA, of getting the message out into the remote parts of Africa is via radios. And of course, Mujib Sahab, I know that you are very heavily involved with the Voice of Islam here in the United Kingdom, but of course, radios is something which is taking the world by storm, as it were.
Yes, Mansoor Sahib, you're correct. By the grace of Allah, radio is also another medium of propagating the true message of Islam. And in actuality, the Jamaat has 25 radio stations, as mentioned by Hazur Anwar in his speech on the second day of Jalsa Salana UK. And Voice of Islam UK is a fairly new entity, just like MTA Africa started in 2016. And the purpose given to us was very straightforward by Hazur Anwar himself, that the purpose of Voice of Islam is to inform people of the true teaching of Islam and to make it abundantly clear that Islam's teachings perfectly conform in relation to the needs of every era and every person. And that's what's been the mission statement of Voice of Islam here in the UK as well. But over the past 1 year, a lot of work has been happening. We have been collaborating with Voice of Islam Germany and Voice of Islam Holland as well now, which have recently started. Even though they are on a much smaller scale in terms of their internet-based radios, they're not DAB or FM or AM. But having said that, in Africa and many of the countries, we have radio stations on FM and AM. In terms of some of the activities that Voice of Islam UK has covered during this 23 year, is that we've been able to cover many of the mosques openings, especially in the UK, some of the most foundation ceremonies that we've been able to attend as well. Another thing that we are finding new is that a lot of the organizations are now approaching us as media organizations, as they are accepting us as a recognized media organization, and they're inviting us to their events. Just recently we went to Lisbon, and we attended the Web Summit that we were invited to, as media reps, and we covered that event for them. And also at the same time we were able to give them the message of Islam. And what was surprising for them was that how a Muslim radio station is here at a technology conference which is talking about AI.
Yeah.
Just to give some numbers, just this year we are able to reach 15 million people in UK through Voice of Islam Radio. We're now live in 10 cities, so it's a big achievement. And there's again the resources that we have, very minimum. There's about 300 plus people volunteering for Voice of Islam. There's only about, let's say, 10 to 12 fully employed individuals, but a huge amount of work is done by these volunteers.
Absolutely.
And they're working from home. These are Lajna, these are young Khuddam, Ansar working just to help propagate the message of true Islam.
Absolutely. I think that's the wonderful message that we've understood from all of these departments. It's a powerful message, that the message given to us by the Prophet Islam, it's being propagated in so many different ways.
It's absolutely, it's this manifestation of the spread of the Jamaat in all the areas that we've covered. The other one is worth mentioning, and it's very important, is MTA 3. When the current Khalifa Yadullah ibn Nasr al-Aziz became a Khalifa, the first thing he asked us about establishing an Arabic channel. And MTA 3 has been that manifestation which fulfilled some of the Promised Messiah's wishes in the Arab world. And as a result, because of shortage of time, you see the Jamaat has penetrated some countries that Ahmadi missionaries or Ahmadi individuals haven't even visited yet. People have heard the message of the Imam Mahdi and have joined Jamaats in great numbers. And this is the transformation you see, a spiritual transformation that these projects were set up to do by the grace of Allah.
I think that's a beautiful point to end on. I think I'd just like to say Jazakumullah to everybody who's here. Also Masood Nasir Sahab joining us online, Munir Sahab of course, Faiz Ibn Nasir Sahab and Majid Mirza Sahab for giving us a bit of an in-depth and behind-the-scenes look at what's going on. Of course, very difficult to put into a nutshell, but you guys have done an amazing job nevertheless. So Jazakumullah.
Jazakumullah.
Next, we have a look at the work going on with the Al-Islam website and how people can utilize some of the brilliant new functions released throughout the year.
The first feature relates to Khalifatul Masih Rabi's Ramallah's Urdu Tarjumatul Quran classes. All 305 hour-long classes have now been segmented verse by verse so you can watch them without leaving the Quran. Just go to any verse in the online Quran, select the Tafsir button, and choose Tarjumatul Quran class from the menu.
The Jamaat's literature is not limited to only being on alislam.org, but is also readily available to anyone, anywhere with a mobile device. In addition to this, the creation of these books will fuel future artificial intelligence projects and will also work to create a new and advanced book search feature on the website.
Now here we have the Central Waqf Office, founded by Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad Rahimahullah, which oversees the Blessed Waqf scheme, through which members of the Jamaat were invited to dedicate their children before their birth to the service of Islam, Ahmadiyyat. Now let's go and speak to the in charge of their department to find out what they've been up to in 2023.
We're actually very fortunate to have here with us in the studio Luqman Ahmed Kishwar Sahab, who is the in charge of the Central Waqf Department. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Kishwar Sahab, now it's of course we understand 2023 was a very important year. It was the first year where restrictions after COVID had been dropped and almost normality kind of resumed. How did the Waqf Department rise to this challenge, and how did it avail this opportunity?
Alhamdulillah, after the pandemic, when we started our work with a full scale, the first opportunity we got during the year, it was the presence of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih on National Waqf UK Ijtima. And Alhamdulillah, for Waqf UK boys and girls, for those 2 days, Huzur graciously gave his time and we were, happy to see him again during all these, programs. On Germany, we had Waqf-e-Nau Ijtima on a full scale, where many of the Waqf-e-Nau, they were participating, and we had Australia Ijtima in Australia, we have our regional Ijtima in USA, we had our Ijtima in Canada, and so alhamdulillah that everybody was coming back to the usual routine regarding the Waqf-e-Nau.
Amazing. And Kishore Sahib, of course, we see so many fantastic publications coming out from the Waqf-e-Nau department. And of course, we've seen the highlights, and we've all seen on MTA the beautiful engagements of Hazuri Aqdis attending the Ijtimas and all the guidance that he gives us. In addition to this, are there any other highlights which perhaps our viewers might have missed throughout the year?
Of course, these are the programs which are usually, published on MTA or some other, resources. But the special thing Waqf-e-Nau department has is the guidance of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih. And alhamdulillah, I have the opportunity every time whenever I write to Huzur to seek any guidance from Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, I have the opportunity to be there. He directs and give the guidance on different occasions. And after that, during the year, he guided us to have our informative stall on Jalsa Salana UK and Jalsa Salana Germany. And alhamdulillah, under his supervision and under the guidance, we had our informative stalls on both of the occasions. And many Waqf-e-Nau, and especially the parents, they contacted us over there, and we were there to solve the problems and to listen to them, to have counseling and career guidance with Waqf-e-Nau as well on these occasions, and online seminars which are not published on MTA or YouTube. We have through our official work every day we have different seminars, parent seminars, and Waqf-e-Nau career planning programs, and we are doing our best to work under the guidance of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih.
It's a very fantastic way of putting it. I think it's very, very important for us to understand just how powerful this system of Waqf is, and how transformative rather it is around the world. A fantastic look into that. Again, Luqman Ahmed Kishore Sahib, the in charge of the Central Waqf-e-Nau department. Jazakumullah ahsan jazaa for being with us today.
Jazakumullah.
Speaking about the blessed scheme of Waqf, next we are taking you to Indonesia, where many Waqf-e-Nau that have kept their Waqf have then gone on to Jamaat Ahmadiyya and are now serving the Jamaat in different capacities.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Hafizur Rahman, graduated from Jamiah Indonesia in 2014, and now I'm serving this beloved Jamaat as teacher in Jamiah. As Mubalik, I dedicate myself in the field that I am posted, that is teaching. To be honest, I feel unqualified to teach in Jamiah, but when Jamaat needs me to teach, so I just feel ready to teach. So as you know that the students who come to Jamiah are the futures of this Jamaat, so I need to be serious to prepare myself. I need to learn how to teach well in Jamiah, so I continuously upgrade myself in this field. Alhamdulillah, by grace of Allah, my parents always remind me about my status as a Waqafin. My parents always told me that you are Waqafin, not all people are accepted to be Waqafin, So I just feel blessed to be included in this scheme. And my parents always taught me about that since I was small, so which I always remember until now. Growing up, when I was in senior high school, the situation was a bit different. There were so many influence from the environment, from the friends, from the people around me. They sometimes advised me not to go to Jamiah, just continue my education in university. Yeah, as a teenager that time, I was a bit confused where to choose. But at the time, there was Mulakat, Waqaf-e-Nau Mulakat, Mr. Komar Sulaiman came to Indonesia at that time in my hometown. There was a malakat, and Mr. Komar Sulaiman gave me a ring, a blessed ring, and I said to him that I wanted to go to Jamia, to enter Jamia and to become Mubalik. That's why he gave me that ring. So that ring for me, it was a support. So since then I never thought about any other choice, just go to Jamia and become Mubalik. Yeah, as far as I remember, Wakafino class was not often held that time like nowadays. For now, we see many classes, Wakafino classes, in local branches, local Jamaat, but at that time, it was just once in a year, not really often. But whenever there was a program in Jamaat like Jalsa Salana, we as Wakafino were always included in a section in a committee, let's say like a cleaning committee. So we were asked to clean the dishes, clean the environment. That's the way we were taught to be always ready to serve this beloved Jamaat.
Now this is the International Press and Media Office based in Farnham, UK, established by Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad rahimahullah in 1984. Now the primary objectives of this department are to deal with the international press and media and convey the message of the Jamaat and Hazrat Khalifatul Masih to them. And of course, one other objective is also to rebut allegations against the Jamaat in the online media forum. And to find out a little bit more about what they've been doing in 2023, we're going to go and speak to a representative in the studio.
We are joined by Farhad Ahmed Saab, a missionary serving in the International Press and Media Office of the Jamaat. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Of course, we understand that the Press and Media Office is very closely linked with showcasing and displaying the enormous efforts of Hazrat Aqdas and his engagements around the world. How does the Press Office help to amplify that voice and that message of Hazrat Aqdas?
I think the biggest thing that the world needs right now is that message of Hazur Anwar Eid Talab bin Sil Aziz to reach them. And one of the means, the primary focus of our office in terms of amplifying that message is through the media.
So for us, of course, 2023 has been a very eventful year for everyone. How important was it for the International Press and Media Department?
By the grace of Allah, alhamdulillah, there was a lot that happened in the year, even with regards to our press office. We had the opportunity to meet a lot of journalists in light of Hazur's guidance. Hazur, right from the beginning of when our press office work started, Hazur gave us the guidance that we should be reaching out to journalists and making friends with them. We had our own ideas about how we should go about getting Jamaat's message out, how we should go about highlighting the true peaceful message of Islam. And Hazur instructed us that just go out there and make friends with journalists and people in the media. And when we implemented that, we found that that was the most effective strategy that we could have ever thought of. And Hazur's blessed words were such that whenever we did contact journalists and try to make friends, it helped us in huge amount of ways, and in ways we couldn't even imagine. Many journalists who had perceptions of Islam which were completely against Islam, they changed after having come. Some of them even thought that non-Muslims can't come inside mosques, or some of them had never visited mosque. And so over the last year, we've had over 175 journalists that we've met in person, whether inviting them to the mosque or going out to meet them for coffees. We've had several conferences, media conferences, where they take place. We try and go there and make ourselves available there. Those people who are within our office, those who are serving as missionaries or other Waqf Zindagis, we try and go there and we tell them that we are young imams, and we have, and then we try to build a relationship with them. And that always hugely helps. We've, over the past year, then as a result of all the effort and Hazur's guidance, we've had more than 100 media coverage that we've received, 100 different pieces of coverage that we've received, which has been, for different events that have happened throughout the year as well. There are different campaigns that we run as well. We receive Hazur's guidance on a certain issue where we write letters to editors, so that gets published. Currently, with regards to Israel and Palestine,
We're running a campaign called Voices for Peace, which Jamaats from all over the world are taking part in based on Hazur's guidance, and the passion and the love that Hazur has for humanity and specifically the Muslim world and the injustices that are happening in Palestine right now. We've received guidance to amplify the message of Islam and message of peace. And so different Jamaats from all over the world are in contact with our office in order to try and do that through the media as well. And of course we publish press releases based on the events that Hazur graces, and us being the press office of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, of the International Press and Media Office, the Markaz Press and Media Office. We try and cover all of the different activities that Hazur, the different formal events that Hazur takes part in, including virtual mulaqats and any other events that take place over the past year. Over 40 or so press releases have been published on our website, which can be accessed as well on pressahmadiyya.com.
Now this is the Ahmadiyya Archive and Research Centre established by Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasrihil Aziz in 2014 with the primary objectives of collating and preserving the history of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat. Now currently this office is located in Tahir House, London, and to find out a little bit more about what they've been doing in 2023, we're going to go back to the studio to take a look at that right now.
So we're joined here by Jalis Ahmed Saab, a missionary serving in the Ahmadiyya Archive and Research Centre. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Jalis Saab, we've seen the wonderful exhibits at the Jalsas and the Ijtimaat, and we've all come across the fantastic kind of the displays and the work that's going on. Could you please tell us a little bit about some of the projects that your team has been working on during 2023?
Yeah, of course. So Ahmadiyya Archives and Research Centre was established in 2014 by Hazrat Khalifatul Masih V, may Allah be his helper, with the objective to collate and preserve all historical records of the Jamaat. So basically the history of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat. Now, having survived many decades, a lot of the historical documents are fragile and they're in dire need to be saved. So this is the reason of archives, or you can say the raison d'etre, as the French say, that this is the reason of what archives does, is to preserve the history of the Jamaat, and especially the autographed documents of the promised Messiah and the Khulafa as well. This is of utmost paramount. And apart from this, of course, any document that we have that we can find of the Jamaat, which is of historical significance, that is then obtained and preserved and archived within our department.
So we've seen some of the wonderful exhibits that you've put on, displaying all sorts of research and material, and we've all enjoyed that as members of Jamaat, be that through the Jalsas or through the Ijtimaat. Can you please tell us some of the projects that you've been working on during the year of 2023?
This year we have, many articles have been written by the archives team, and just a few. For example, we have a new historical evidence about the Muhammadiyya Begum prophecy, and there's many other articles as well, but this was from this year, and there's one more that stands out, is the formative years of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih I. So his life before he came to Qadian, these sort of things which were at first not very much known, but of course we obviously have his photo as well. So throughout the research, the team, when they did the research, we also came across this photo of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih as well, the first.
Indeed, and a very, very striking photo then, of course, something that people can view online and also in person as well. Jalis Saab, so many people have different reactions when they come across the words of, say, research or archive. In today's day and age, in 2023 as it were, how did you engage members of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, and also how did you benefit them as well?
So a lot of the archive material, what is the heart and the heart and the core of one of our aims is to get the archive material out of the shelves, out of the boxes, and present them to the public. And we do this in three main ways, whether it be through exhibitions, either in Jalsa Salana or throughout the year. There's also, like we mentioned, articles as well, which we would publish in the Jamaati organs, for example, Al-Hakam and Al-Fazl. And of course, then there's the power of social media, which we also utilize for our benefit, where we can get our material researched material that we have from the archives department to the people of the Jamaat, so that they can also gain benefit of the rich history of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat as well.
Now we are currently outside the International Ishaat Department, which works very closely alongside the International Tasneef Department. Their objectives are to write, translate and publish books of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, and this of course includes the Holy Quran and its translations. They also work very closely with the Ishaat Tarsil Department to disseminate this literature all around the world. To find out a little bit more about what these departments have been doing in 2023, we will now speak to their in charges.
ہمیں وکالت اشاعت اور وکالت تصنیف کے مختلف پروجیکٹس اور خدمات کی تفصیل بتانے کے لیے ہمارے پاس ابھی اسٹوڈیو میں موجود ہیں ریسپیکٹڈ مکرم منی الدین شمس صاحب ایڈیشنل وکیل تصنیف اور مکرم نصیر احمد قمر صاحب ایڈیشنل وکیل الاشاعت. السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ. شمس صاحب اگر میں آپ سے شروع کر سکتا ہوں, 2023 کے دوران اشاعت اور تصنیف کے ڈپارٹمنٹ اشاعت کے بارے میں ہم بھی بات کریں گے. تصنیف کے ڈپارٹمنٹ کے کون سی خدمات تھیں, کون سی مصروفیات تھیں؟ مثال کے طور پر ابھی آپ بیان کر چکے ہیں اباؤٹ قرآن کے مختلف تراجم پر جو کام ہوتا رہا ہے, اس کے بارے میں آپ تھوڑی سی تفصیل بتا سکتے ہیں؟
اللہ تعالیٰ کے فضل و کرم سے جماعت احمدیہ کے ذریعے گزشتہ سال تک 75 زبانوں میں قرآن کریم کا مکمل ترجمہ تیار کروا کر شائع کروایا جا چکا ہے, اور اس سال کے دوران یعنی 2023 کے دوران اللہ تعالیٰ کے فضل و کرم سے 2 نئی زبانوں میں قرآن کریم کا ترجمہ تیار کیا گیا اور ان کی طباعت کی گئی. ان میں سے سب سے پہلے تو ہے ہیبریو, عبرانی زبان, جو انتہائی ضروری اور اہم زبان ہے. اس پر کوئی 20-30 سال کام ہوا ہے, اور اللہ تعالیٰ کے فضل و کرم سے ہمارے موسیٰ اسد عودے صاحب ہیں کبابیر میں, انہوں نے بہت ہی محنت سے یہ کام کیا. اس کے علاوہ دوسرا ترجمہ قرآن جو اس سال کے دوران تیار کیا گیا وہ ہے فن لینڈ کی زبان فنش. اس پر بھی 15-20 سال کا عرصہ لگا ہے. تو یہ 2 تراجم ہیں جو کہ نئے تیار کر کے چھپوائے گئے اس سال کے دوران, اور اس طرح ہماری 77 زبانیں ہو گئی ہیں دنیا کی جن میں قرآن کریم کا مکمل ترجمہ شائع ہوا. ان کے علاوہ البینین زبان میں قرآن کریم کا ترجمہ کئی سال پہلے شائع کیا گیا تھا, لیکن اب عصر نو یہ ترجمہ تیار کیا گیا ہے, اور اس میں مختلف نوٹس بھی شامل کیے گئے ہیں, اور قرآن کریم کی صورتوں کا تعارف بھی دیا گیا ہے. تو یہ بھی ایک اس لحاظ سے ایک نیا ترجمہ بن جاتا ہے جو کہ حال ہی میں تیار ہوا اور اس سال اس کی اشاعت کی گئی.
اچھا, ماشاء اللہ. اور شمس صاحب, اس کے علاوہ قرآن مجید کے تراجم کا جو بہت اہم کام ہے آف کورس, اس کے علاوہ اور بھی تصنیف کے خدمات ہیں اور کام ہیں, مصروفیات ہیں, ان کے بارے میں آپ کچھ بتا سکتے ہیں؟
کتب میں اس سال مثلاً صحیح بخاری جو حدیث کا مجموعہ ہے حضور صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کی حدیث کا, اس کو تیار کروایا گیا اس کے اردو ترجمے کے ساتھ. اس کے علاوہ حضرت مسیح موعود علیہ السلام کی کتاب منن الرحمن, اس کا انگریزی میں ترجمہ تیار کیا گیا ہے اور وہ اس سال طبع کیا گیا ہے. تو یہ منن الرحمن کا انگریزی میں ترجمہ اس سال تیار کروا کر شائع کیا گیا ہے. اس کے علاوہ مواہب الرحمن حضرت مسیح علیہ السلام کی کتاب ہے جس کا انگریزی میں ترجمہ اس سال تیار کر کے شائع کیا گیا ہے. مواہب الرحمن کے علاوہ خطبہ الہامیہ جو حضرت مسیح موعود علیہ السلام کو اللہ تعالیٰ نے عید الاضحیٰ کے روز یہ فرمایا کہ آپ عربی میں بھی کچھ بولیں, تو حضرت مسیح موعود علیہ السلام مسجد اقصیٰ میں عید الاضحیٰ کے دن خطبہ دینے کے لیے کھڑے ہو گئے, اور آپ نے عربی زبان میں یہ خطبہ دیا جو کہ فی البدیہہ تھا, کوئی پہلے تیاری نہیں تھی, اور حضرت مسیح علیہ السلام نے لکھنے والوں کو یہ فرما دیا تھا کہ آپ میرے پاس بیٹھ جائیں اور لکھتے جائیں, جس لفظ کی سمجھ نہ ہے اسی وقت مجھ سے پوچھ لیں, کیونکہ مجھے نہیں پتہ کہ اس کے بعد مجھے وہ یاد بھی ہوگا کہ نہیں. کیونکہ آپ فرماتے ہیں کہ اس طرح لگتا تھا کہ جیسے کوئی فرشتہ میرے منہ سے بول رہا ہے اور وہ الفاظ آٹومیٹیکلی نکلتے چلے جا رہے ہیں. تو یہ خطبہ الہامیہ تھا جو کہ ایک اعجازی نشان تھا حضرت مسیح علیہ السلام کی صداقت کا. تو اس کا انگریزی میں ترجمہ تیار کروا کر اس سال ہم نے وہ بھی شائع کروایا ہے. اس کے علاوہ اور بھی بہت ساری مختلف کتابیں ہیں جو اس سال شائع کی گئیں, لیکن میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ وقت کے لحاظ سے جو ہمیں بتایا گیا تھا یہی کافی ہے.
جزاک اللہ شمس صاحب. ہم دیکھ سکتے کتنے مختلف پروجیکٹس ہیں جس پہ کام کیا جا رہا ہے, اور آف کورس قمر صاحب جو وکالت تصنیف اور وکالت اشاعت آپس میں کافی کلوزلی کام کرتے ہیں. آپ کچھ بتا سکتے ہیں کہ کون سے پروجیکٹ 2023 میں جس پہ آپ کے ڈپارٹمنٹ نے کام کیا, اور آپ کے ڈپارٹمنٹ کے جو مختلف مقاصد ہیں اور خدمات ہیں وہ دوران سال کیا ہوتے ہیں؟
دیکھیں, جیسا کہ محترم شمس صاحب نے بتایا ہے کہ جب کوئی کتاب تیار ہوتی ہے یا اس کا ترجمہ تیار ہوتا ہے تو حضور انور کی منظوری کے بعد وہ طباعت کے لیے وکالت اشاعت کو دے دیا جاتا ہے, اور وکالت اشاعت پھر حضور اید اللہ کی ہدایات کے مطابق ان کی طباعت کے لیے کارروائی کرتی ہے. محترم شمس صاحب نے بعض کتابوں کا ذکر کیا وقت کی مناسبت سے, تو جتنی بھی کتابیں آتی ہیں, اور بہت ساری کتابیں آتی ہیں جو مرکز میں ہمیں ایڈیشنل وکالتی تصنیف سے طباعت کے لیے ملتی ہیں, لیکن بہت ساری کتابیں ایسی بھی ہیں جو مختلف ملکوں میں تیار ہوتی ہیں
جی,
اور ان کی طباعت پھر چونکہ انہی ملکوں میں ان کی زیادہ ضرورت ہوتی ہے جہاں پہ وہ زبانیں بولی جاتی ہیں, تو وہ مقامی طور پر ان کی طباعت کرتے ہیں. اس کے لیے حضور اید اللہ کی ہدایت یہ ہے کہ وہ طباعت کے لیے ایڈیشنل وکالت اشاعت سے رابطہ کرتے ہیں, اور پھر حضور انور کی خدمت میں وہ پیش کر کے اور اس کی منظوری کے بعد جو بھی ان کے بجٹس وغیرہ ہیں اس کے مطابق وہ صورتحال پیش کر کے حضور کی اجازت کے بعد پھر وہ مقامی طور پر طباعت کرتے ہیں. یہ سلسلہ تو سارا سال ہی جاری رہتا ہے. حضور اید اللہ نے گزشتہ قریباً 1-1.5 سال سے خاک سار کو یہ فرمایا کہ قرآن کریم کے وہ تراجم جو پہلے شائع ہو چکے ہیں ان میں سے جو اب سٹاک میں دستیاب نہیں ہیں اور وہ ری پرنٹ ہونے والے ہیں ان کی طرف بھی توجہ دی جائے. چنانچہ حضور کی ہدایات کی روشنی میں پھر اس پہ کام شروع کیا گیا, اور قریباً 15-20 زبانیں ایسی ہیں جن میں قرآن کریم پہلے سے تو شائع شدہ ہیں لیکن اب انہیں ری پرنٹ کرنے کی ضرورت تھی. چنانچہ حضور انور کی ہدایات سے انہیں مطلع کیا گیا, اور اب جو وہ تراجم کے نئے ایڈیشن تیار ہو رہے ہیں ان میں حضور کی ہدایت کے مطابق عربی متن جو ہے وہ خط منظور والا استعمال کیا جا رہا ہے. ان میں سے 2023 میں جیسے کہ شمس صاحب نے بتایا کہ البانین ترجمہ قرآن تو شائع ہو چکا ہے, لیکن ملئے ترجمہ قرآن, مینڈے ترجمہ قرآن یہ بھی اسی سال میں فائنل ہوئے ہیں, اور اس وقت امید ہے کہ یہ جنوری-فروری تک آ جائیں گے چھپ کے بھی. اس کے علاوہ مورے ہے, ڈچ ہے, بلگیرین ہے, بوزنین ہے, یہ تراجم بھی جو ہیں اس پہ بھی کافی کام 2023 میں ہوا ہے. ایک بڑی اہم کتاب جو 2023 میں تیار ہوئی ہے وہ ہے بنیادی مسائل کے جوابات. ہمارے بہت سارے جو احباب جماعت ہیں اس بات سے آگاہ ہوں گے کہ الفضل میں بنیادی مسائل کے جوابات کے عنوان سے بالاقساط ایک مضامین کا سلسلہ شائع ہوتا ہے جس میں حضور ایدہ اللہ کی زبان مبارک سے مختلف جو سوالات دوست کرتے ہیں ان کے جوابات جو دیے ہوتے ہیں وہ شائع ہوتے ہیں. خطبات مسرور جو پہلے شائع شدہ تھے وہ 1 سے 12 جلد تک تھے, اور اب 13 سے 20 تک جو ہیں وہ بھی 2023 میں چھپنے کے لیے پریس میں دے دیے گئے تھے, اور امید ہے کہ وہ بھی 2024 کے شروع میں چھپ کے آ جائیں گے. تو سیرت النبی جو حضرت مسلم موعود رضی اللہ تعالیٰ عنہ نے جو مختلف کتب میں ذکر فرمایا ہوا تھا یا خطابات میں, اس کو اکٹھا کر کے بھی ایک سلسلہ کو شائع کیا تیار کیا گیا ہے. 2 جلدیں پہلے شائع ہو گئی تھیں 2023 میں, اس کی جلد نمبر 3 اور 4 شائع ہوئی ہے. تو ہر قسم کی کتب جو ہیں اللہ کے فضل سے وہ شائع ہو رہی ہیں.
جزاکم اللہ حسن جزا. ظاہری بات ہے یہ ایسے ڈپارٹمنٹس ہیں جس کے اندر اتنے مختلف پروجیکٹس چل رہی ہیں کہ تو ہم آرام سے اس پہ ہی ہم پورا پروگرام اس پہ بھی ہم کر سکتے ہیں. مگر جزاک اللہ حسن جزا, آپ نے اس کے بارے میں تفصیل بتائی ہے, ہمیں اطلاع بھی دی ہے کہ اس کے بارے میں کیا کیا ہو رہا ہے, کیا کیا خدمات ہو رہی ہیں بیہائنڈ دا سین, جتنا کام ہو رہا ہے. جزاکم اللہ حسن جزا.
We've spoken about the phenomenal work taking place in the publication and printing of literature, the most important task of which is the spread of the Holy Quran around the world. In this regard, we take you to a remote part of Nigeria called Kano, where copies of the Quran in Braille are being used by the blind and visually impaired in a school focusing on the teaching of the Holy Quran.
خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان.
The Ahmadiyya Muslim community took lead among all other Muslim communities to publish the Holy Quran in Braille. Here, in a remote part of Nigeria called Kano, we can see copies of the Holy Quran in Braille that have been donated from the UK, being taught and read by some Muslim students in an institute for the blind.
وكانوا لا يستطيعون سمعا
Now, we are currently at the Al-Fazl International offices, which was established in 1994, tasked with delivering articles on miscellaneous topics for different audiences. And of course, in 2023, it has now become a daily newspaper. Now, the Al-Hakam newspaper was founded in 1897, making it the very first newspaper of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat. We also have the Review of Religions, which was established in 1902, making it the first magazine aimed at the Western culture and its audience. And to find out a little bit more about what Al-Hakam, the Review of Religions and Al-Fazl International have been doing in 2023, we will now go and speak to their representatives to find out more.
The Daily Al-Fazl International, the Review of Religions and Al-Hakam, three pivotal organs of the Jamaat. And to help me understand a bit more of the details, the projects and the intricacies of these fantastic departments, we have with us Hafiz Zafrullah Sahib, who is Chief Editor of Al-Fazl International, Sayyid Amir Safi Sahib, Chief Editor of Review of Religions, and we have Akil Kang Sahib, who is Executive Editor of Al-Hakam. Of course, there has been a lot of work that's been going on. And when people hear about the names of these, particularly these three fantastic organs, often people come to think of issues to do with print media and opening broadsheets or opening magazines. And of course, in 2023, I guess, a lot's changed. Akil Sahib, talking specifically about Al-Hakam, how has this changed in the past year? And what are some of the projects that your department has undertaken?
Yeah, I think it's also important to underline that one thing that will never change is the importance of print. And so we continue, and this is equal, and we share this with our colleagues and other publications, that our publication centers around connecting the Jamaat and Jamaat members with Khilafat. And as such, we report on Hazur's activities. We continue this throughout the year. And when it comes to this year, I think since the opposition against the Jamaat has increased, so has our reporting, our responding to the allegations. And other than that, I think with all publishers would agree that it's very volatile, and speed, adapting to the to the new media, it's very important. So we started a live blog, live.alhakam.org, during major Jamaat events at Jalsa, for example, Jalsa Salana, where we, in a dynamic way, in real time, gave updates on the Jamaats, on the activities on site through stories, short videos, etc.
Sure.
And during the year, I think a lot of traffic was increased to our website, alhakam.org, as well, and to the tune of hundreds of thousands of people visiting, unique visitors coming to the website. And this year, we have started short form, videos on YouTube and Instagram Reels, and we're also excited that more recently we started long form videos on YouTube, where we're getting really good feedback. And I think if our viewers who are watching, we will encourage them to subscribe to those channels as well.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Amir Sahib, of course, we've grown up, and of course I will say the same about Al-Fazl in a moment as well. We've grown up really kind of understanding and watching and reading Review of Religions. Could you tell us a bit some of the goings on over the past year? Perhaps a little bit of a behind the scenes look at what's Review really been up to over the past year.
And just echoing what my brother Akil Sahib said, it's whilst we are all developing our other platforms, it reminds me of something Hazur said once, that although We are going towards social media. We're going through videos. Some people once came and suggested that why don't we shut down the print of Review of Religions because everyone's going digital. And it was interesting because in those days there was statistics showing that people are now coming back towards print because of these things on your phone which show you like too much screen time, etc., etc. Hazrat said something beautiful. He said, "Noon wal kalami wa ma yasturun." He said the Quran itself speaks about the fact that print will never die because of this verse in the Quran. And people go in a certain direction for a certain number of years, but they always come back. But saying that, in Review of Religions, alhamdulillah, under Hazur's guidance and prayers, we are now in 4 languages: Spanish, German, French, and English. And within that, each one has a website, has social media, has videos, etc. This year, we saw a big growth in a lot of these. So, for example, take the Spanish edition. They'll be doing a lot of work, and the majority of our team are actually based in Latin America. And one of our coordinators, Marwan Gilsa, based in Argentina, through the Review of Religions, he was able to spread the message of Ahmadiyya to Chile. And the first message of Ahmadiyya in the modern time, in an established way, reached through the Review of Religions, to the extent that when he was appointed as a missionary for Chile, it was through the contacts of Review and Espanol, he was able to go to Chile and make further contacts. And this goes back to the time of the Promised Messiah and the companions, who also similarly used the Review to bring the message of Jamaat to the first time to many countries. If we go on to other things, for example, with the English edition, one thing that we've been doing apart from we've also seen a huge increase this year, and we've reached hundreds of thousands, if not millions. So one thing we've done, as Akil Bhai mentioned, the short form. So one thing Hazur mentioned is that, of course, we have arguments to do with the death of Jesus, to do with the existence of God. They're extremely important, and we continue to do them. However, Hazur is explaining, and not in these exact words, let's say someone is feeling very sad or depressed or so on. You can't go to them and say, let's tell you about the death of Jesus. And Islam has those answers. If you look on social media today, it's all motivational quotes. The new religion is self-improvement. This is a new thing. Everything you go on social media is about how to better yourself. Whereas Islam has those answers. So we focused on that in our approach on articles, in our videos. So, and for example, in Ramadan, we had something called Ramadan Reels every day. But it simplified it in a really simple, easy to understand way. And that proved to be very successful even amongst non-Ahmadis and non-Muslims. So going for everyday issues that people can relate to, the non-Muslim can relate to, was an important attempt that we made this year. In addition to that, one thing we did was something called, in our exhibitions, which are quite strong, around the world, in many countries, at Jalsas and Ijtimals, we had something called the blind taste test. Now what that was is, that we had it at this Jalsa as well, is that people would take, they had to taste some candy or sweet with a blindfold.
It's a good test to have.
It's a good test to have. And now what happens is, I didn't know this properly myself, is that your sense actually gets distorted when you put a blindfold on. And the majority of people cannot properly taste what that is. And it's a simple way, even non-Muslims took it and children took it, and they realized that, oh, actually, you have to use your senses in the right way to detect certain things. And that goes on to what we say about existence of God. We then went on to talk to them about existence of God and realized that if you want to reach God, you can't use just your physical senses, just like dark matter, which makes up more than 90% of the existence.
So it's fantastic to see. And I mean, I know we talked about the other ways that you've put that message across. There's podcasts, there's so much else going on. But it's amazing to see how we're packaging that basic message and we're giving it in so many different diverse forms to cater for the palate, as it were, today. Jazakallah, Amr Sahab. हाफ़ साहब, अब हम जैसे मैं अब कह चुका हूँ रिव्यू ऑफ रिलीजन्स के बारे में, जब से हम बचपन से ही जब से हम बड़े होते जा रहे हैं, हम रिव्यू ऑफ रिलीजन्स, अल हकम और अल फज़ल के बारे में हम पढ़ते भी रहे हैं, हम उसको भी पढ़ते रहे हैं, हम उसको मुख्तलिफ़ जो उसके मज़ामीन हैं, मुख्तलिफ़ जो इंटरेस्टिंग बातें हैं वो पढ़ते आ रहे हैं. मगर अब जैसे हम बात कर चुके हैं कि एक किस्म का जो लोगों का जो अटेंशन स्पैन है वो भी कम होता जा रहा है, लोगों को जो पढ़ने का रुझान है वो भी कम होता जा रहा है. तो इसके हवाले से अल फज़ल ने क्या काम किए, और वैसे 2023 के हवाले से मुख्तलिफ़ जो आपकी खिदमात है और मसरूफ़ियात और प्रोजेक्ट्स के बारे में, अगर आप इसके बारे में कुछ बता सकें तो.
जज़ाकल्लाह मंसूर साहब. तो अल्लाह के फज़ल से जैसे कि अल हकम और रिव्यू ऑफ रिलीजन्स का ज़िक्र हुआ, खिलाफत के ज़ेर साया हर इदारा जो काम कर रहा होता है वो तरक्यात की मनाजिल दिन ब दिन के लिहाज से कह लें, महीने के लिहाज से कह लें, सालों के लिहाज से कह लें, वो तय करता है अल्लाह के फज़ल से. तो जो अल-फज़ल का जो सबसे इस साल जो बड़ा अल-फज़ल पे जो अल्लाह ताला का सबसे बड़ा इनाम हुआ वो ये था कि हुज़ूर अंदर की शफ़क़त से ये अल-फज़ल जो कि 1994 में एक हफ़्त रोज़ा की तरह शुरू हुआ था, وہ 2023 کی 23 مارچ سے روزنامہ میں تبدیل ہو گیا. تو اب وہ ڈیلی شائع ہوتا ہے, روزنامہ اخبار ہے, ہفتے میں 6 اس کے شمارے شائع ہوتے ہیں, آن لائن بھی جاتا ہے اور ساتھ میں پرنٹ بھی ہو کر جو خریدار ہیں ان تک پہنچایا جاتا ہے. اور اسی طرح بچوں کا الفضل ہے جو کہ 15 روزہ اخبار ہے, ہر 15 روز کے بعد اتوار کے دن اس کو شائع کیا جاتا ہے. اور جیسا کہ ذکر ہوا ابھی کہ یہ ایک بہت بڑی چیز زیر گفتگو ہے کہ پرنٹ کو ختم کیا جائے یا نہ کیا جائے, لیکن دیکھنے کی بات یہ ہے کہ لوگوں کی پڑھنے کی طرف توجہ کم ہے. اس وجہ سے ہم نے لوگوں کی مصروفیات کو پیش نظر رکھتے ہوئے اور ایسے خاص طور پر نوجوان یا ایسے لوگ جو اردو کو سمجھتے ہیں لیکن اس کو پڑھ نہیں سکتے, اس کے لیے ہم نے الفضل کی آڈیو تیار کرنا شروع کی. اور اس سال ہم اس کو مختلف پلیٹ فارم پہ اس کو ٹرائی کرتے کرتے اس سال ہم نے اس کو یوٹیوب پہ شروع کیا, جو کہ اللہ کے فضل سے بہت کامیاب ہے. اور لوگ اس کو چلتے پھرتے سن بھی سکتے ہیں, ویب سائٹ پہ مضمون کے ساتھ اس کو لنک بھی کیا ہوتا ہے, اور ہمارا جو یوٹیوب کا چینل ہے اس پہ بھی وہ اپلوڈ کی جاتی ہے. اور اسی طرح جو بچوں کا الفضل ہے اس کی خاص طرز پر ایک ہم ویڈیو تیار کرتے ہیں, اور جو ویڈیو تیار ہوتی ہے اس میں ایک والدہ اپنے بچے کے ساتھ, جس طرح ہمارے گھروں میں پہلے ہوتا تھا کہ مائیں اپنے بچوں کو پڑھ کے سناتی تھیں, ساتھ ساتھ سمجھاتی جاتی تھیں, تو وہ اسی طرح ایک والدہ اپنے بچے کو پڑھ کے سناتی ہیں اور ساتھ اس کو بہت خوبصورت انداز سے اس میں جو اس کے ویژولز ہیں وہ ایڈ کیے جاتے ہیں, تو لوگ اس کو بہت پسند کرتے ہیں, اس سے فائدہ بھی اٹھا رہے ہیں. اور اس کے علاوہ ہمارا جو سوشل میڈیا پہ ہم نے اس سال ہمیں توفیق ملی کہ ہم ویڈیو ریلز شروع کریں. روز کی ایک حدیث ہم ریل کی صورت میں یا شارٹ کی صورت میں مختلف پلیٹ فارم سے اپلوڈ کرتے ہیں, اور ارادہ ہے کہ انشاءاللہ تعالی ہم جو لمبی ویڈیوز ہیں جس میں مختلف مضامین کے کانٹینٹ کے اوپر ہم پوڈ کاسٹ کی صورت میں اس کو تیار کر کے شائع کریں گے. سال کے اختتام سے پہلے انشاءاللہ وہ بھی شروع ہو جائیں گی, ان ویڈیوز کو بھی شروع کیا جائے گا. مقصد یہ ہے کہ ہمارا جو پیغام ہے جماعت کا, جو الفضل کا مقصد ہے رپورٹنگ کرنا جماعت کے ایونٹس کی, یعنی جس طرح حضور جب دورہ جات پہ تشریف لے جاتے ہیں تو اس کی رپورٹس بھی ہوتی ہیں, ان رپورٹنگز کو اور اس کے ساتھ علمی اور ادبی مضامین کو, منظوم کلام ہے شعراء کا, ان کو پلیٹ فارم جو دیا ہوا ہے اس کو ہم پرنٹ میں بھی شائع کریں, اور سوشل میڈیا کی بھی ہر شاخ پر جتنا زیادہ سے زیادہ ممکن ہو اس کو ہم شائع کریں اور لوگوں کو پہنچائیں تاکہ مقصد حاصل ہو, لوگوں تک وہ پیغام پہنچ سکے.
Jazakallah Hafiz Sahab, thank you for explaining so much in detail about Al-Fazl and the works going on. And again, Jazakallah to all of the esteemed guests, Akil Kang Sahab, Sayyid Amr Safir Sahab and Hafiz Urullah Sahab, to tell us a little bit more about these fantastic organs and the work and the products going on behind the scenes. Jazakumullah khairan.
Now currently we are outside the Bangla desk, which alongside many other desks was founded between 1986 and 1995 by Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad rahimahullah. Now the primary objectives of these desks are firstly to translate the books of the Promised Messiah alayhi salam alongside other literature of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat, not to mention the Friday sermons, lectures and question and answer sessions of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih for the public. Another task of these desks is to deal with correspondence when it comes to Hazrat Khalifatul Masih and other Jamaat offices for the public in their native languages. Now to find out a little bit more about what these desks have been doing in 2023, we are now going to go and speak to the in charges of some of these desks.
اور ان ڈیسک کے بارے میں ان کی معلومات زیادہ جاننے کے لیے ہمارے پاس یہاں پہ اسٹوڈیو میں بیٹھے ہیں عبد المومن طاہر صاحب جو ہیں عربک ڈیسک کے انچارج, رانا خالد صاحب ہمارے جو رشین ڈیسک کے انچارج ہیں, اور فیروز عالم صاحب ہمارے بنگلہ ڈیسک کے انچارج. السلام علیکم ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ.
وعلیکم السلام ورحمۃ اللہ وبرکاتہ.
محمد صاحب پہلے آپ سے آغاز کرتے ہیں. اب ظاہر بات ہے 1986 میں ہم جانتے ہیں, یا شاید لوگ نہیں جانتے کہ 1986 میں عرب ڈیسک جو ہے وہ اس طرح اس کا شروع کیا گیا تھا, اور اس کا مین مقصد جو تھا وہ عرب لوگوں کے ساتھ خلافت کا جو تعلق ہے اس کو مضبوط بنانے کا, یہ اس کا مقصد تھا. اب اس کے بارے میں کچھ بتا سکتے ہیں, اور خاص طور پہ 2023 میں اس حوالے سے کون سے کام کیے گئے؟
اس سال جو اللہ کے فضل سے عربک ڈیسک میں جو کام ہوا ہے اور پچھلا جو کام ہے اس کا میں خلاصہ بتا دیتا ہوں کہ پچھلے سال تک حضرت مسیح السلام کی ساری عربی کتب, اردو کتب شائع ہو گئی ہیں ترجمے کے ساتھ, اور یہ تقریباً 178 کتابیں ہیں جن میں حضرت مسلم موعود کی کتب بھی ہیں اور مختلف پیمفلیٹ بھی ہیں, لٹریچر دوسرا بھی ہے جو بعض ترجمہ ہیں, بعض اصل کتابیں عربی میں شائع ہوئی ہیں. اس سال الحمدللہ عربک ڈیسک کو حضور کی نگرانی میں اور دعاؤں کے سائے تلے ملفوظات جلد اول سے لے کر 10 تک ترجمے کی توفیق ملی ہے، جو اس وقت پریس میں چھپ رہی ہے اور انشاءاللہ 1-2 مہینے میں آ جائے گی۔ اس کے علاوہ حضرت مسلم موعود کی 34 کتب شائع ہو چکی ہیں، جن میں مثلاً تفسیر کبیر کی 10 جلدیں ہیں اور سیر روحانی جیسی کتابیں ہیں اور چھوٹی اور بڑی ساری کتابیں ہیں۔ اس کے علاوہ اس سال تقدیر الہی، عرفان الہی، برکات خلافت، ضرورت مذہب، اور یہ حضرت مسلم موعود کی کتابیں چھپی ہیں، اور حضور انور ید اللہ تعالیٰ بنصر عزیز کی خطبات پہ مشتمل 2 اور کتابیں چھپی ہیں، سوشل میڈیا اور پردہ۔ اور اس کے علاوہ الحمدللہ بہت سی کتب اس وقت تیار ہو رہی ہیں، جن میں مثلا حضرت مسیح السلام کا مجموعہ اشتہارات ہیں، مکتوبات احمد حضرت مسیح السلام کے خطوط جو ہیں جو حضور نے مختلف لوگوں کو لکھے، اسی طرح حضرت مسیح السلام کی تفسیر جو ہے جو کمپائل ہوئی ہے اس کا ترجمہ بھی ہوا ہے اور صرف اس کو اکٹھا کیا جا رہا ہے، اور یہ بھی انشاءاللہ اس سال کا پروجیکٹ ہے۔ پھر سیرت المہدی حضرت قمر الانبیاء رضی اللہ عنہ نے جو لکھی ہے حضرت مسیح السلام کی سیرت، اور سیرت مسیح موعود جو عرفانی صاحب رضی اللہ عنہ نے لکھی ہے وہ ہے۔ مرقات الیقین اس وقت پریس میں دینے کے لیے تیار ہو رہی ہے، حیات قدسی تیار ہو رہی ہے، سیرت حضرت اماں جان تیار ہو رہی ہے، حیات ناصر ہے، الاظہار لذوات الخمار حضرت خلیفہ ثانی کے خطبات کا مجموعہ ہے، فضائل القرآن ہے۔ یہ کام ہیں جو اس سال ہوئے ہیں اور ہو رہے ہیں اور انشاءاللہ پریس میں جا رہے ہیں انشاءاللہ۔
خالد صاحب، رشین ڈیسک تو ایک ایسا ڈیسک ہے کہ اس کے بارے میں لوگ تھوڑا کم ہی جانتے ہیں کہ رشین ڈیسک کے کام کیا ہوتے ہیں، کون سے خدمات وہاں سے ہوتے ہیں۔ ہم میں سے جو جماعت میں کام کرتے ہیں، ہم تو یہ جو خطبات کے سمریز جو ہیں اور جو ترجمے ہیں اس سے تو ہم بہت فائدہ اٹھاتے ہیں، مگر شاید باقی لوگوں کو اتنا نہ پتہ ہو کہ کیا کیا خدمات ہے، کون کون سے پروجیکٹس ہو رہے ہیں۔ تو اگر آپ پلیز اس کے بارے میں تھوڑا سا آپ ہائی لائٹ کر دیں اور اس پہ روشنی ڈالیں۔
بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم۔ اصل میں بنیادی طور پر جو ہمارے جماعت کے اندر جو ڈیسک قائم ہیں، سب کا بنیادی کام تو ترجمانی ہے، ترجمہ کرنا ہی ہے بیسیکلی، اور اس میں حضور انور کے خطبات، خطابات، جماعتی لٹریچر کا ترجمہ ہے۔ رشین ڈیسک کا کام بھی بنیادی طور پر یہی ہے، جیسا کہ آپ نے بتایا بھی ہے تعارف میں کہ حضور کے خطوط کا ترجمہ جو مختلف زبانوں میں آتے ہیں، رشین کے علاوہ ازبک، قازق، کرگز وغیرہ زبانیں تاجک زبان میں آتے ہیں، سب کے ترجمے کیے جاتے ہیں۔ اور خاکسار سمجھتا ہے کہ سب سے اہم کام میں کہوں گا یا رشین ڈیسک کے لیے کہ اعزاز ہے کہ 2010 سے حضور انور ید اللہ بنصر عزیز کے تمام خطبات جمعہ اور جو بھی اردو زبان میں خطابات کہیں بھی ہوتے ہیں اور MTA پہ جو مختلف پروگرام حضور کے ہوتے ہیں، ان کا جو ٹرانسکرپٹ ہے وہ رشین ڈیسک تیار کرتا ہے، اور پھر حضور انور کے ارشاد کی تعمیل میں حضور انور نے جن شعبہ جات کو وہ آگے دینے کے لیے ارشاد فرمایا ہو ان تک پہنچائے جاتے ہیں تاکہ وہ بھی ترجمہ کر سکیں اور ارشاد کے قابل ارشاد کے تیار کر سکیں۔ اور خاکسار سمجھتا ہے کہ اس کام کی برکت سے ہی ہمارے باقی کام ہو رہے ہیں کہ ہمیں یہ موقع مل رہا ہے اور یہ اعزاز ہے رشین ڈیسک کا کہ حضور انور کے تمام خطبات اور خطابات کو ہم ٹرانسکرپٹ کرتے ہیں۔ اور جہاں تک باقی کاموں کا تعلق ہے، جیسے استاد المحترم محمد صاحب نے بتایا ہے کہ مختلف کتب کے تراجم ہو رہے ہیں، اور اس وقت خاص طور پر جو ہم ایک ایز اے ٹیم کے طور پر کام کر رہے ہیں وہ قرآن کریم کا ترجمہ ہے، جس کا 4تھا ایڈیشن انشاءاللہ جلد شائع ہوگا۔ وہ اپنے آخری مراحل میں ہے، اس کی نظر ثانی اور اس کی چیکنگ وغیرہ۔ خاص طور پر میں یہ بیان کرنا چاہوں گا کہ اس سال خاکسار کو حضور کے ارشاد کی تعمیل میں مختلف ممالک کا دورہ کرنے کا موقع ملا ہے، اور حضور کا پیغام لے کر خاکسار گیا تھا۔ حضور انور نے ان تمام جماعتوں کو ایک پیغام دیا تھا جس میں مختلف قسم کی نصائح تھیں، جس میں سے خاص طور پر حضور نے ان جماعتوں کو ان کے حالات کو سمجھتے ہوئے، ان کے مشکل حالات کو جانتے ہوئے حضور انور نے ان کو اصحاب کہف سے تشبیہ دی ہے اور ان کو بتایا ہے کہ آپ کو کس طرح مشکل کے ساتھ اپنے ایمان کو چھپانا بھی پڑ رہا ہوگا، اور اس میں ایک آپ کے لیے مشکلات بھی ہوں گی، رکاوٹیں بھی ہوں گی، لیکن پھر بھی حضور نے ان کو بہت نصائح کی اس حوالے سے کہ کس طرح وہ اپنے عبادات کو کس طرح بجا لائیں اور کس طرح اسلام احمدیت کے پیغام کو حکمت کے ساتھ پھیلائیں اور کس طرح وہ ان مشکلات سے اللہ تعالیٰ کی مدد مانگ کر آگے جا سکتے ہیں. اور خاص طور پر حضور نے فرمایا کہ خلافت کے ساتھ اپنا جو ایک تعلق ہے اس کو مضبوط سے مضبوط تر بنائیں. اور اس کا بہترین حل یہ ہے کہ خلیفہ وقت کے لائیو پروگرام، لائیو خطبات، لائیو خطابات سننے کی عادت ڈالیں اور اس سے نہ صرف آپ کی اپنے بلکہ آپ کی آئندہ نسلوں کی جو ہے وہ تربیت ہوگی. جہاں تک باقی کاموں کا تعلق ہے، کتب کے ترجمے ہو رہے ہیں، لٹریچر کا ترجمہ ہو رہا ہے اور ہماری جو حضور انور کی اجازت سے رشین ویب سائٹ، کرگز ویب سائٹ، ازبیک ویب سائٹ، ان پہ بھی کام ہوتا ہے. اور زوم کے توسط سے مختلف کلاسز ہوتی ہیں آن لائن اور اس سے پھر دنیا بھر میں پھیلے ہوئے جو رشین زبان بولتے ہیں ان تک وہ پیغام پہنچ جاتا ہے اور پھر ان کی کلاسز ہوتی ہیں، ان کو بہت سی چیزیں سکھائی جاتی ہیں، ان کو پڑھائی جاتی ہیں، بتائی جاتی ہیں. تو یہ سلسلہ چل رہا ہے.
بالکل بالکل، جزاک اللہ. فیروز عالم صاحب، بالکل جیسے ہم پہلے ہم نے بات کی ہے، مختلف ڈیسک کے ڈفرینٹ طریقے ہوتے ہیں وہ پروڈکٹس کو ہینڈل کرنے کے، مگر ایکچوئل جو مقصد ہے اور جو پرپز آف بلٹ ہے ایز اٹ ور وہ سیم ہوتا ہے. بنگلہ دیش میں 2023 میں کیا کیا ہوا مجھے پتہ ہے اور باقی دوست بھی جانتے ہیں، مختلف جو کورسپونڈنس اور کتب وغیرہ کے ہیں، اس کی کچھ تفصیل بتائیں کہ کیا کیا مصروفیات تھیں، کون کون سے خدمات اور کون کون سے پروجیکٹس ہوئی تھی 2023 میں.
شکریہ آپ کا. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. ڈیسکو کی جو بنیادی وجہ یا ان کا جو مقصد ہے وہ ہے غیر زبان والے، یعنی جن کی زبان اردو نہیں ہے، ان کے ساتھ خلیفۃ المسیح کے روابط. تو یہ ہے ڈیسک کے قیام کے ایک بنیادی مقصد، تاکہ ان زبان والوں کا خلیفۃ المسیح سے براہ راست تعلق ایک قائم ہو جائے. تو اس لحاظ سے بنیادی جو ہمارا کام ہے وہ ہے حضور کے کورسپونڈنس کے کام. کثرت سے لوگ خطوط لکھتے ہیں بنگلہ بولنے والے، بنگلہ دیش سے بھی اور انڈیا سے بھی، اس کے علاوہ دنیا میں جہاں کہیں بھی بنگلہ بولنے والے ہیں ان کا ترجمہ کر کے پیش کرنا، ان کے حضور کی جب ہدایات آتی ہیں ان کے مطابق خطوط تیار کر کے پھر بھیجنا. یہ اس میں ہمارے جو وقت کا ایک بہت بڑا حصہ اس میں صرف ہوتا ہے. بلکہ یہاں ایک مزیدار بات مجھے یاد آ رہی ہے کہ ایک دفعہ میں نے عرض کیا کہ حضور خطوط میں کورسپونڈنس میں اتنا وقت میرا ضائع ہوتا ہے، یہ ضائع کا لفظ میں نے استعمال کیا ہے، اور اگر یہ نہ ہو تب میں مسیح موعود اسلام کی کتب کا بہت تیزی سے ترجمہ کر سکتا تھا. حضور نے فرمایا کہ یہ ضائع نہیں ہے، یہ خلیفۃ المسیح سے جماعت کا رابطے کا ذریعہ ہے یہ خطوط جو ہے، تو اس لیے یہ لفظ ٹھیک نہیں ہے. تو یہ بات باتوں میں مجھے یاد آ گئی.
جی ہاں.
تو بنیادی کام ہمارا یہی ہے، لیکن باقی جو کام یہ دو بزرگان انہوں نے بتایا ہے کہ کتب کے تراجم اور دوسرے حضور کے خطبات اور خطابات کے تراجم، اس سلسلہ جاری ہے. بنگلہ ڈیسک بنگلہ زبان میں بھی عربی کی طرح ساری کتابوں کا ترجمہ نہیں ہوا، لیکن اب تک تقریباً 46 کتب کا ترجمہ ہو چکا ہے اللہ تعالیٰ کے فضل سے. کچھ ادھر ہو رہے ہیں، کچھ بنگلہ دیش میں کر رہے ہیں. یہاں بھی جیسا کہ مکرم و محترم محمد صاحب نے بتایا کہ حضور کی جو لیٹسٹ کتب ہیں، سوشل میڈیا، پردہ، اس قسم کی کتابوں کا ترجمہ ہو چکا ہے. حضرت مسیح اسلام کی بعض عربی کتب کا ترجمہ ادھر حمامۃ البشریٰ، پھر سر الخلافہ، اس کے علاوہ استفتاء، اس قسم کی جو کتب ہیں ان کا ترجمہ اللہ تعالیٰ کے فضل سے ہو چکا ہے اور مسلسل جاری ہے. براہین احمدیہ کے تراجم بھی ہو چکے ہیں مکمل، تقریباً 5 جلد کے ہم ختم کرنے والے ہیں. باقی جو 4 جلدیں ہیں وہ چھپ چکی ہیں. تو اللہ تعالیٰ کے فضل سے یہ ایک بہت بڑا کام اللہ تعالیٰ کے فضل سے ہوا ہے. باقی کام جو ہے وہ تو حضور کے جو خطبات کا ترجمہ بنگلہ میں بھی مسلسل جاری ہے. ہم ہر خطبے کو ہفتہ ختم ہونے سے پہلے تو اس کا خلاصہ کرتے ہیں، پھر اس کا آڈیو ریکارڈنگ تو ہوتا ہی ہے، پھر ریٹن ترجمہ بھی کرتے ہیں اور پھر سوشل میڈیا میں اس کو اپلوڈ کرتے ہیں. اور خطبات کے سلسلے میں ہم جو ایک کام ہے ہمارا ہو رہا ہے وہ یونیک اس لحاظ سے ہے کہ ہر بدھ کو ہم حضور کے اسی ہفتے کے خطبے پر سیمینار کرتے ہیں.
अच्छा।
बांग्लादेश के तमाम तर मुरब्बियान मुअल्लिमीन उसमें शामिल होते हैं। तो तकरीबन 2 घंटे का ये प्रोग्राम होता है और पिछले तकरीबन 2 साल से ये सिलसिला जारी है।
एक हफ्तावार रिफ्रेशर कोर्स है,
रिफ्रेशर कोर्स की तरह। तो ये एक सिलसिला अल्लाह ताला के फज़ल से बड़ा खूबसूरत जारी है। बाकी काम भी हुजूर के इरशाद के मुताबिक हम मुख्तलिफ ममालिक के दौरे भी करते हैं। वहाँ जो बंगाली कम्युनिटी है उनके ज़ेर इंतज़ाम तबलीगी मुख्तलिफ मजालिस सारे मुल्क में, मसलन इस दफ़ा हाल ही में मैं कनाडा से होके आया हूँ। अच्छा। और मेरे कोलीग जो है वो अमेरिका से होके आए हैं, तारिक मुबशिर साहब। तो काफ़ी वसी दौरा रहा। ईस्ट और वेस्ट में काफ़ी सारे तबलीगी नशिस्तें हुई और तरबियती प्रोग्राम्स हुए और घर घर गए, बंगालियों से मिले, क्योंकि मकामी लोगों के लिए बंगालियों में 100% उधर उनके उमूर में दाखिल होना मुमकिन नहीं है। तो उसी ज़बान के लोग जब जाते हैं जिनको वो शुरू से जानते हैं, वो जाके काफ़ी हद तक मालूम कर सकते हैं कि कहाँ प्रॉब्लम है और इनकी हल क्या है। तो इस लिहाज से मैंने हुजूर की खिदमत में भी रिपोर्ट दी है ये कि हम तकरीबन 95% लोगों के घर तक पहुंच सके और जो प्रॉब्लम्स हैं उनका भी इंशाल्लाह बाद में पेश करूंगा। ये मैंने हुजूर को लिखा है, लेकिन दुआ की दरख्वास्त मैंने की है हुजूर की खिदमत में। तो कामों के नौइयत तो मुख्तलिफ है और जारी है अल्लाह ताला के फजल से।
Next, we look at the recent publication of the translation of the Holy Quran in the Kyrgyz language and how it's helping the Ahmadis of Kyrgyzstan to develop an even deeper love and understanding of the Holy Quran.
By the grace of Allah, one of the many languages that the Jamaat has translated the Holy Quran into is Kyrgyz. Here we see how this has helped local people join the Ahmadiyya movement in Islam.
Когда читаешь священный Коран, это как путник в пустыне нашел источник воды и не может напиться. Так же и когда читаешь аяты священного Корана, ты наслаждаешься такой божественной силой.
Это тот перевод, который нуждается по сегодняшний день и вплоть до судного дня. Это перевод священного Корана мусульман Ахмадийской общины.
Ahmadiyya Jamaatini tarjima qilgan o'zbekcha Qur'oni Karimni 2005 yo 2006 yillari o'qiganman. Men Qur'on o'qishdan burun o'zim juda ham boshqacha hayot kechirganman. Dunyo qarashim ham, o'zim olib yurishim ham boshqacha bo'lgan. Keyin Qur'oni Karimni o'qib boshlaganimda ko'p narsalarni ko'rib, har xil narsalarni tushunib, yetib yangi hayot boshlangan. Keyin yangi hayot boshlangandan keyin men ashundagina tushunib yetganman o'z musulmonlar har xil toifalarga bo'linishini. Ash paytdan keyin Qur'onni kunda o'qib, o'zimni hayotimga kirgizib, Qur'onni yo'q deganda bir ruku perevod tarjimasi bilan o'qib, hayotimga kirgizishga harakat qilaman.
Жөнөкөй которулган деп эсептейм. Анткени биз аны окуганда ушунчалык терең түшүнүп, жана Алла Тааланын буйруктарын өз жашообузда, күнүмдүк жашообузда, үй бүлө менен болгон карым-катнашта, коомчулукта болгон жана кошуналар менен болгон карым-катнашта Алла Тааланын буйруктарын туура так аткарууга аракет кылып келебиз.
We are currently in the new complex of Bayt al-Futuh Mosque, and here we have PAMA, Pan-African Ahmadiyya Muslim Association, which was established in 1986 by Hazrat Mirza Tahir Ahmad rahimahullah, and its primary objectives are to facilitate the training and education of the people who are those who relate to the African origin. This originally started as a UK auxiliary organisation, but by the grace of Allah is now a central organisation with branches all across the globe. We also have the International Translation and Research Department, which is a fairly new department which has been given the primary objectives of translating literature and content from Arabic to English and Urdu and vice versa. They have also been tasked with special tasks delving into research in religious and worldly affairs. To find out exactly what they have done in 2023, we will now go and speak to their representatives.
We are joined by Jamil Muanjasab, who is member of the Pan-Africa Ahmadiyya Muslim Association, and respected Muhammad Ibrahim Mikrofsab, in charge of the International Translation and Research Office. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So 2023, of course, has been a very interesting year. Many activities resuming after COVID and many other such goings on as well. Jamil Sahab, looking at Parma in particular, we have all heard about the fantastic peace symposiums and the other fantastic events going on. Could you tell us a little bit about the highlights of Parma during 2023?
By the sheer grace of Allah, 2023, Parma, as you have mentioned it, it's Pan-African Ahmadiyya Muslim Association, has had a wonderful year where we had our Lajna joining the rest of the world in celebrating their centenary. We had Lajna, they had a brilliant African Day here at Bait Futu. They also had a retreat, inspiring retreat for the girls, which took part in Birmingham. Parma took part in the international football tournament and cricket tournament, where we had our boys traveling from around the world to take part in the tournament, and they did a brilliant job. We had the Jau Samaki, where we, for the first time, it was wonderful hosting the media, having guests from the continent, and an exhibition of Qurans and a lot of books which are printed, published in Africa. So we had that wonderful exhibition as well. And then we had the recently held Peace Symposium, which took place here at Bait Futu, also which had the international aspect. We had guests coming from the African continent, from United States, and then from Europe as well, and lots of guests from UK. And then finally, we are looking at the global expansion of Parma. Parma was established purposely for UK, and now, beloved Huzul, since 1986, when it was when it was formed by the late Khalifa, may Allah have mercy on him. It was a UK organization or auxiliary of the Jamaat, but now, beloved Huzul, may Allah have mercy on him, has expanded it to the whole world, where now recently we had the chapter expanding to Netherlands and Spain, joining United States of America, joining Canada and Germany as well. So these are some of the inspiring activities, some of the few among the many which we can talk about in the time we have got.
That's fantastic. Jamil Sahab, you also mentioned the Peace Symposium in particular, which I know everyone very, very much enjoyed and enjoyed listening to the news reports about as well.
Yes, we had, because of COVID, we never had a peace symposium for some time. And this year, alhamdulillah, we managed to organize a peace symposium, which was well attended by people from almost the whole world. We had representatives from Africa, representatives from USA. And then when you look at the UK community, we had, where we normally have members of parliaments, we have charities, African charities, we have people from all walks of life. People, it's a niche which normally doesn't attend Jamaat activities, so we are tapping into another a niche which is normally very rare to find. We had guests who have been here for the first time.
Amazing.
They've never been here before, and they were seeing Ahmadiyya for the first time. They never expected what they saw. We had an opportunity to have a wonderful exhibition of what the Jamaat does around the world. We had Humanity First exhibiting how literally Khilafat is a blessing to the whole world.
Yeah,
where we are taking water, we are taking education, medical services to the whole world. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Jazakumullah. Ibrahim Sahab, of course, speaking particularly about the International Translation and Research Office, it's a department which perhaps is newer to many people, perhaps not many people know that much about it. But what were some of the highlights and the projects taken on by the department in this year?
The first project allocated to us by Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, was the translation of Sahih al-Bukhari. And you know, as you know, Sahih al-Bukhari is the most authentic hadith compilation existing on the planet. And my team, in this case, this department translates the Arabic into English. The first volume we finished, the first volume, and it consists 1,300 pages. And alhamdulillah, we completed the second volume as well with, again, 1,300 pages. And inshallah, by Jalsa Salana 2024, we are looking forward to complete all the 3 volumes, inshallah, ameen. Then another book, Hamamatul Bushra. This is under translation from Arabic, a book, authored by Masih Maud himself.
Yes.
Then Al-Qawl al-Sarih, that will be around April 2024, will be ready. And if ever, that's an important book for the tabligh purposes, about the science of the Prophet Messiah, the arguments in support of the truth of the Prophet Messiah, etc., etc. Another is a translation of all Jamaat terminology, Urdu terminology, English terminology, and the Arabic equivalent of it. We are alhamdulillah, conducting this translation. As far as now research, this is very important. We are now translating the qira'at, because there are Orientalists, as you know, who try to deceive the public and the people against, incite them against Islam, in telling the people that Quran has not been preserved, you see? And in that case, first they were attacking the content of the Holy Quran. They're unable anymore. Now they start to attack the text of the Holy Quran. And we are conducting, myself, this research on qira'at, and there are different qira'at. What does this mean? Has the Quran, indeed Quran has been preserved, and how? For example, you have the Warsh reading in Morocco, Algeria, etc. Then you have the other kind of readings, and we go through all the research from the early period of Islam. You see how this developed.
Yes.
All the battles fought by the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Khulafa al-Rashidin, not in just a timeline of all the battles fought by the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Khulafa al-Rashidin, a short summary, the reason behind it, why, who were involved in these battles, and what is the justification.
Yes.
And it will be like an encyclopedia to go through all these battles, easy for everyone, short, this is the battle, why did it take place, and what is the reason. And then another one of our missionaries as well, Safraz Bajwa, celebrations in the West of the festivals and all those celebrations, their origins, and are they, can we celebrate them as Muslims or not? Compilation of all the Western historical, celebrations, updated until now, and we are working on this. Beside this, I want to mention as well, Mansour Sahib, we have as well in this department a new magazine, Arabic magazine, first Arabic magazine, especially focused on Arab Lajna. It's called Zadul Muslima. In fact, I can tell you it is launched online under the guidance of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih, Ayatollah. Not only this, Hazur gives specific guidance and response to questions, on theological matters, jurisprudence, contemporary issues, allegations against Islam in relation to every matter, including women's rights, etc.
Right.
And alhamdulillah, it is received in such an amazing way, and people are really reading it, and alhamdulillah are fond of this magazine.
Ibrahim Saab, Jameel Saab, Jazakumullah for giving us such an in-depth and behind-the-scenes look at just how much work is going on in just these 2 departments, let alone all of the work going on in all the other departments as well. So Jazakumullah for giving us such an in-depth look, and may Allah bless you and continue the work in the Jamaat in these departments as well.
Right now, we are standing outside Humanity First, which alongside IAAE and Nusra Jahan Scheme serve as major humanitarian organs of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat. Now, the Nusrat Jahan scheme was actually established in 1970 in order to provide relief and aid to the African continent, whereas Humanity First, right behind me, was established in 1994 to provide relief aid and disaster aid to all corners of the earth, and is currently serving in 52 countries. And then we have IAAE for the Architects and Engineers Association, which aims to provide humanitarian aid and development all around the world, regardless of age, gender or ethnicity. And to find out a little bit more about what these agencies have been doing in 2023, we're going to go back to the studio to speak to their representatives.
So that gives us a bit more of an understanding as to these three fundamental departments within the Jamaat, and to give us a bit more of an understanding as to the projects that they're working on and the work behind the scenes, as it were. We're joined by three esteemed gentlemen with me here in the studio. We have, of course, Mirza Mahmood Saab, who is the Secretary Majlis Nusrat Jahan Board, United Kingdom. We have Irfan Ahmed Qureshi Saab, Vice Chair of the International Association of Ahmadi Architects and Engineers. And we have Tariq Ahmed Hayat Saab, one of the directors of Humanity First, United Kingdom. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Tariq Hayat Saab, of course, we've come across a lot of reports, especially over the past couple of years, a lot to do with social media. It's in the palm of our hands, as it were. We've seen a lot about the projects going on with Humanity First. Could you tell us a little bit about 2023, what happened in this year, and perhaps give us a bit of an understanding behind the scenes as what's been going on in Humanity First?
Sure. Well, Jazakallah, Mansoor Sahib. So by the grace of Allah, Humanity First operates in over 50 countries of the world across 6 continents. So it's quite difficult to summarize the work that it does in such a short period of time, but I'll try. So the work of Humanity First falls into 2 broad categories.
Okay.
The first category is around development and sustainable development programs, and the other is around disaster relief. And our development programs, which are well known to our supporters and members of the Jamaat, include things like Water for Life, so putting water pumps in remote parts of Africa and Asia. We run orphanages and schools. At the moment, we are partway through building a new hospital, inshallah, in the Ivory Coast, called, which will be called the Masroor Center for Healthcare, inshallah. Closer to home, we run food banks in the UK. So there's a food bank up in Murfield and one in Walsall, and we're constantly looking for new food banks because the need is such. On the international relief front, unfortunately, in the last 12 months, there have been a number of natural disasters and man-made disasters that we've had to respond to. So on the natural disaster front, there were earthquakes, as you know, in Turkey and in Morocco, and we were some of the first responders to both of those disasters. In terms of conflicts, I think there's 2 things that I'd like to highlight. First is the war in Ukraine.
Yes.
And Humanity First had the opportunity to set up a camp on the Poland-Ukraine border, where we were providing medical services, a soup kitchen, mental health services to people who were displaced as part of that conflict, and the UN recognized that as being one of the main service providers in that location. And then much more recently, unfortunately, we're seeing some horrific scenes coming out of Palestine and Gaza. Humanity First has had the opportunity to serve the people of Gaza for several years now. Particularly when it comes to the installation of water desalination plants. And alhamdulillah, one of the plants that we put in before the war started is still operational, or at least appears to be still operational, and is providing clean water to approximately 100,000 people in Gaza at the moment. And so now our focus is very much around raising money, and as soon as the opportunity allows, to work with our partners on the ground to provide much needed humanitarian relief to the people there.
That's phenomenal to see work going on both domestically and internationally. And I guess it's very much part and parcel of this group of people that are here. You're representing departments that are spending their entire lives, resources, trying to help and aid people around the world. Irfan Qureshi Saab, when we look at IEEE again, it's we hear about some of the projects that are going on, and there's always been a lot of appreciation and admiration from members of the Jamaat, and that's always been the case, looking at the fantastic work going on between all the departments. I've heard recently that I know recently that this admiration and this recognition has surpassed Jamaat members and actually has gone on to international organizations as well. To what extent is that true?
So this year, Alhamdulillah, by the grace of Allah, we've been able to represent our work at the UN. So there was a conference held at United Nations in Geneva, and we were able to showcase the guidance of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih at the UN. A lot of our projects have been going on for numerous years, but now we have reached a level where even previously we wanted to get there, but now Alhamdulillah we are there. What we would like to do is actually hold such conferences at the UN, so at the world stage the work of the Jamaat is really showcased, and we are able to expand our work and also really teach the world through the eyes of Khalifatul Masih how work is really done, how compassion and humility and the service for mankind is at the heart of the work that Jamaat stands for. So IEEE has been working in various fields. Hazur gave us the project called Water for Life, where more than 3,000 successful water points have been set up so far. This year we were able to do over 200 water points in 7 countries in Africa. And then we have the Model Village project, where 2 Model Village projects have been set up. It basically uses solar technology to pump water to an overhead tank and distributes that water to different tap points, where a villager was able to use 1 hand pump, but now it could be used for to different tap points, and it's basically you open your tap and then there's water there.
Something which we absolutely take for granted in many places of the world.
That's right. And then we have the Alternative Energy Committee, which uses solar technology to provide light and essential services at night, where children in Africa where there's no electricity, they cannot really get this light which is healthy light. People might have used kerosene lamps in the past, but now with the advancement of LED lighting and with the advancement of technology through solar, you're able to charge a battery which allows for that light to be used during the night time.
That's fantastic.
So these are some of the projects that we are doing through the guidance of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih.
So again, a beautiful focus there again on the ethos of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih and how it's then understood and how it's implemented across the world, giving things which are simple as clean running water or a light to read from, and the difference that makes around the world. And this brings me very nicely and neatly onto you, Mahmood Sahab. Of course, looking at the Nusrat Jahan scheme and looking at the things that it wishes to accomplish. We've spoken a little bit about Africa and about some of the challenges that these departments have been facing. What are the challenges that Nusrat Jahan faces? And in fact, I would turn it from challenges into what are some of the success stories that you think and the selling points almost of Nusrat Jahan that makes you stand out as an organization, especially the projects that have been used in 2023?
I think the sort of the element here is the service in remote areas, and that is our success story. That is our passion for all the doctors, whoever actually devote their time, devote their life. They go to Africa with the sole purpose that wherever they're stationed, I mean, under the sub-Saharan countries, there is a very sort of, the top of the sub-Saharan is Niger, and in Niger, in the remotest area of Niger, there's a Bernikoni town which is bordering Guinea, and it's very far from the capital.
Okay.
And we established one clinic there by the grace of Allah, and it's running now, servicing all the local population. And similarly, in the west of the country, there is another clinic set up. In Liberia, we've got 2 new young passionate doctors from Bangladesh who have been stationed in one in Ganta and one in Calcutta. So these are names of the cities which, obviously, to be honest, I didn't had the opportunity to actually. I had to look up on the map where they are, and a very small, tiny spot, on the map. But it's a service that's there, and you can imagine sort of the challenges for the local people to travel all the way. If, for God forbid, someone is sick, they had to travel all the way to Monrovia in Liberia, or to any other sort of major city. Now the service is at the doorstep, and Hazur Anwar has always guided the teams of Majlis Nusrat Jahan to ensure that we expand and go out in remote areas. And one of the key challenges that we had was a recognition, and by the grace of Allah that we had overcome after delivering more than 50 years of service in Ghana. The Ministry of Health has recognized the Majlis Nusrat Jahan Ghana as a health service. Now, officially, it's called the Ahmadiyya Muslim Ghana Health Services.
Amazing.
And it's under Ministry of Health. There are only two subsidiaries of Ministry of Health. One is a Christian body, and one is Jamaat Ahmadiyya. And by the grace of Allah, we were acknowledged by the Ministry of Health, and a long service, more than 50 years of service in Ghana, when there was no other sort of bodies willing even to go to those remote areas. Jamaat was there.
Wow.
And having an X-ray machine, having a panoramic dental setup, sort of, where even here we don't see. I mean, it's amazing. And people who go there, they actually sort of, with that sort of passion of service and guidance from Hazur Anwar, they work day and night for the service of these people.
Jazakumullah. I think that gives a very healthy look at the work that's going on. Of course, a very brief look, and this is a thimble in the sea of the work that's been going on, the khidmat that's being done. But Jazakumullah Aslam, Jazak for shining light on the fantastic work, and it's genuinely awe-inspiring to hear this level of service happening around the world, again, in the remotest places that people don't even know the names of, and making a difference in their lives. So again, Jazakumullah Aslam, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Jazakallah.
With so many marvellous projects being carried out around the world, let's take a look at how some of the hospitals of the Jamaat are serving those in most need in various parts of Africa.
يا راحلين إلى ديار أحبتي من فضلكم هلا أخذتم مهجتي يا راحلين.
The service is absolutely great. I have to use the word absolutely because from outside it looks different from what's inside. The nurses here are exceptional. Doctors, good professionalism and great ambience. It's good.
This hospital, Ahmadiyya Muslim Hospital Ojokoro, alhamdulillah, provides the quality services to the community. We are amongst the best hospitals which provide the quality services with nominal charges. So alhamdulillah, then as far as the patients are concerned, it is every day we have miraculous treatments and the recoveries. But there is a patient I remember, a young lady came with a huge ovarian cyst, and she has been going to different hospitals, to the churches, and until she came here, alhamdulillah, we operated her and she recovered. And it was even broadcasted on the radios and TVs, where they announced that this is how this lady was treated. So alhamdulillah, it is a great achievement with the prayers of the Khalifatul Masih and the hard work of the staff.
I've been seeing a lot of improvements since the treatment commenced, and I'm very happy with the quality of service I've been receiving. And I give thanks for Allah. Please, I'm getting better, alhamdulillah.
We try to improve the services day by day. Recently, we have procured some new ultra-modern equipments, which includes the ultrasound machine and fully automated chemistry analyzer.
I'm a medical lab scientist working here in Ahmadiyya Muslim Hospital, Joko. One very unique thing about the hospital, which I think every other place should emulate is what we call tolerance. There is no form of discrimination. Religious tolerance is something I envy so much about the hospital and about the management.
Over the course of this show, we have seen just a glimpse of the immensely important and multifaceted projects carried out by the Jamaat around the world, and have heard about the life-changing impact that the community of the Promised Messiah ﷺ is having on people in all fields and areas every single day. But these are not the feats or accomplishments of any man or human effort. No, these are purely the blessings of Allah the Almighty. And so as we end this year with our heartfelt gratitude and shukr to Allah the Almighty for all of the blessings and mercies He has shown us, we beseech Him for the opportunity and the ability to carry on these efforts next year and in the years to come. A huge thank you to all of our guests who have come on the show today to give us that behind-the-scenes understanding. Indeed, it is our duty also to pray for the success and continuation of this blessed Jamaat, and to remember our dearest and most beloved Hazur in our prayers, under whose direction and guidance all of these projects and endeavors are carried out. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
हम तो हर दम चढ़े रहे हैं एक बुलंदी की तरफ वो बुलाते हैं कि हो जाए निहा हम